The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. What's up, boys?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Man, off to a beautiful start this. Check it out. Thursday.
Oh.
On this Thursday. Nailed it, baby.
What time is it?
6:01 a.m. Central Time, 7:01 a.m. Eastern Time. It's
Ooh,
9.
not falling for any of the tricks this morning.
And you know what I figured out yesterday?
AF.
I'm looking at my Google Calendar. It was going to update back to Central Time because I entered the Central Time Zone. And then it asked me the option. Do you want to display both time zones? I didn't even know that was an option. So now all my Google calendars have got both time zones listed along the side, defaulted to mine, but right next to it, I see the Eastern time zone as well.
Nice.
And man, I can't decide yet. So far, it seems like it's going to be a positive. There's a very real chance it confuses me more, but we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it until it causes a problem.
It's a very low bar.
You're basically
very easily confused.
You're basically sitting over there on like a spaceship now, dude. Like you got,
Whoa!
You're like in that guy in Grandma's Boy with the monitors. You're just living in the future over there.
Grandma's Boy is such a ridiculous movie.
It truly is, dude. It truly is. There's a lion.
I've never seen Grandma's Boy.
Oh man.
We figured.
Yeah, that's not
Actually,
it's not
you know
that
what,
much
though?
of a surprise.
That is a little surprising though, because like it's not surprising when it's like Godfather or Shawshank, but Grandma's Boy is a Simon movie. Like
It's silly.
It's silly enough.
It's weird enough that it would be the one that you watch 4 times.
Okay, I'll watch it. I'll watch it 4 times before I watch Shawshank Redemption. I'll put that on the list. It goes.
Yeah, put it 4 times.
It goes Shawshank Redemption, Grandma's Boy 4 times, The Godfather in that order. I believe is the priority.
How many Nacho Libres are in there before the?
Oh well, of course, one in between each at least. Yeah, you have to watch one in the middle.
A little bit of a palate cleanser.
Oh, exactly. to refresh me for the next movie. We got some people in the chat ready for this morning show. Dennis over here saying morning, boys. What's up, Dennis?
Morning.
And Charles said good morning, fellas. What's up, Charles? Glad to have you in here.
Yes,
And we got Tommy in the chat saying Carr to the Patriots. Tom Brady becomes a Raider. Rodgers to the Saints. Zach Wilson becomes a waiter. Daniel Jones gets the tag. Geno to the Panthers. Jimmy G to the Colts and Lamar to the Commanders. Let the QB carousel begin. Yeah, I thought it's been crazy the past couple years with QBs changing teams. Matthew Stafford to the Rams, Tom Brady to the Buccaneers, but we might see some additional craziness this offseason. It's going to be crazy. We got some stuff to talk about during BYOB today. We got Squirrel Bob in here saying morning. What's up,
Morning,
Squirrel Bob?
Morning,
Squirrel Bob said, what's high score mean? Did I break it?
That's from a movie you've not seen.
I was going to say, I have no idea what's going on in that question.
Grandma's Boy.
Ever heard of it?
That's a all-time quote from Nick Schwartz in that movie. Nick Swartzen is in that movie, and it's
I forgot he's in that.
Yeah, and so you forget so much. I gotta watch that one again. Let's all watch it together.
We'll have a watch party.
We should
We have a question in the chat before we get into the rest of the show. Stephanie, what's up? Good morning, Stephanie. Thanks for joining us. Said, I'm fighting for 3rd place this week. I ended up with 3 QBs, trying to figure out who to start. Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, or Justin Fields. Coop, of those 3 quarterbacks, who are you starting?
First of all, good job of collecting great quarterbacks because you have a lot of great options. For me, me and JL kind of talked about this yesterday where we can't really trust Lamar Jackson in his first game back, even if he is good to go. Plus, he hasn't practiced all week. Jared Goff is in an amazing spot, but I personally have Justin Fields as a top 3 option. And I can't really see how he wouldn't be top 5 in this matchup with the Lions. They're playing in a dome It's the over-under opened at 51. Now it's up to 52.5. People have been able to throw all over the Lions. He's going to be able to run all over them. Like Justin Fields is in a absolute smash spot this week. So is Jared Goff in the same matchup, but you get the rushing upside with Fields. So I would go big, Stephanie. Go Fields.
I'm with Coop. I'm going Fields, but honorable mention to Goff. He's not far off.
Right. Yeah. I have Goff at like QB 8 this week. He's in a good spot too, but you take the mobile upside.
Yep. Justin Fields, triple Justin Fields. But again, wow, look at the options you've built up. You've got 3 guys who people would be thrilled to be starting this week in the championship. Nice job, Stephanie.
Great question.
Yeah. I've been thinking.
What's up, Coop?
Tommy mentioned Tom Brady, and we talked about the options this week. It's so funny that people are like, Tom Brady's washed. And then I look around the league, and I would rather have Tom Brady as my starting quarterback than like 25 teams. Like, especially the quarterback starting this week, right? You know, it's like Jarrett Stidham and Gardner Minshew and all these dorks. Like,
watch your mouth.
Sorry, I love dude. Minshew is a complete opposite of a dork. I'm a dork, and Gardner Minshew is a legend. But still,
cool guy.
As far as spinning the old pigskin, I'd rather have Tom Brady. Would you rather have Tom Brady as your quarterback this season or Gardner Minshew?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady
for sure. Guys, it is that time of morning. Everybody watching, I hope you brought something to eat. We brought the news stories. We brought the topics. You guys just got to bring your own breakfast. John Luke, did you bring any breakfast this morning?
I brought a nice peanut butter biscuit and some OJ.
Whoa, what is that cup?
I don't know about that juice mug.
It's just stretched.
Yeah, but it's red. It's red too.
Oh yeah, you can't control what's on the inside.
Oh, it's red all the way on the inside, not just a red rim. You said
it's like the stilettos of juice cups.
Oh man,
Dale said it's what's on the outside that counts.
Yeah, listen, you can't always control what's on the inside. Sometimes you just got to go with the outside.
You might be drinking too much. That might be too much juice for the morning, though.
No such thing, my friend.
Is that true?
That's true. I'm a doctor.
All right, doc.
I went to medical school and everything.
Medicine school.
Medical school.
Medicine school.
That's what they told me.
Yeah, here I am on my first day of medicine school. And we're going to learn about medicine.
And that's it.
We're going to learn about medicine. First lesson, you can never drink too much juice in the morning.
Yeah. Lesson number 1.
Lesson number 2, the inside of the cup doesn't matter. Just the outside. It's all about the outside. We got Charles in here. What's up, Charles? Good morning. And he said, playing in a league that plays through week 18, never again. I have Kittle and Ingram. Concerned Kittle rests week 18. Also, Alexander Madison is on the wire. Cook might sit week 18. I don't think they have Dalvin Cook, but just wondering, should they hold Evan Ingram in case George Kittle sits in week 18 or drop him to pick up Alexander Madison? What are you doing here, JL?
I guess I'm holding Ingram. They're not going to bench Ingram on next week because they're going to play the Titans, and that's going to where their playoff chances are going to come down to. So, yeah, I'd be holding Ingram.
Yeah, you got to hold Ingram, but that would stink if they bench Kittle because Kittle gets Arizona, which is that's hot, boy. That's the number one, if not number one. Every other week it goes back and forth between Seattle and Arizona, but those two are just like the worst first tight end. Either one of those teams is fine. Both those teams are letting up over 17 points. So, like, if you look at DraftKings points, which is full PPR, both those teams are letting up over 17 points to the tight ends. Miami's letting up 16. No other team lets up more than 15. So, like, those two teams are just, like, way on their own pedestal as far as being a good matchup for tight ends. So, if Kittle is playing, you start Kittle over Ingram, but you want to hold on to Ingram just in case.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Unless you had Dalvin Cook and no other running backs as well, in which case I would pick up Alexander Madison. But in this case, it makes sense to hold on to Evan Ingram. We got NKC in here saying morning. What's up, NKC? Welcome in. Glad to have you in here.
What up, NKC?
Good morning, NKC.
What up? Guys, I'll kick us off today. Man, there's so much to be said about this. I feel like I saw 45 tweets giving the reasoning, some explanations behind it. But we've already alluded to it. Tommy mentioned it in the intro. The Raiders are benching quarterback Derek Carr for the final 2 games of the season, and Jarrett Stidham is going to be the starting quarterback for the Raiders.
bombshell, dude.
Absolute savage.
Yeah, I mean, what is the deal with players just like leaving the team when they get benched these days? I don't remember that being a thing, but now this is the second time
Mariota
did it. Yeah,
first one.
Derek Carr made an excuse of like, oh, I don't want to be a distraction. Sounds more like he wants a vacation, or he's just like done with the team. You know, he's like, I'm out of here. But very rarely, I can't remember a lot of instances of that happening. Besides, you know, guys are left for mental health things. You know, Dennis Rodman bailed on the Bulls to go hang out in Las Vegas for a couple of weeks, but beyond that, like you hang out when you get like it's a 53-man roster, only 11 dudes start. Like usually you still go to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and what happens if Stidham gets injured, right? Like Derek Carr's not going to be there. This does feel like a thinly veiled ego thing, right? Like he's just mad that he got benched. Exactly. But I'm with you. I think it's more of a distraction that he leaves the team than him just staying there and being the backup.
Yeah. Have they signed anybody? Because I'm not seeing any. I was looking yesterday, and I'm just double checking now today that I don't see any other QBs on this depth chart. Maybe somebody on the practice squad going to get called up here, but I don't see any QBs on the practice squad either. So, Chase Garbers, I guess, is the next guy.
Yeah, of course.
It's not a real name. You just made that up. Chase Garbers.
The heir to the Garbers fortune, of course.
Yes. That's right.
Bill Barbers.
Pete Warbers. Bring him on.
I did see a tweet from Jeremy Fowler that kind of explained a little bit of the behavior, right? Jeremy Fowler yesterday said, according to his sources, the Raiders have benched Derek Carr in order to preserve his health for a potential trade this offseason. They don't want to risk injury, and his market could heat up after the Super Bowl, but the option to stay is still on the table. That makes it make a little bit more sense. I was confused. This felt very much like an Eli Manning getting benched, like an overreaction. Like they don't truly believe they have anything in Jarrett Stidham. I can't believe that they think that's the future of the quarterback position. So it was odd to see Derek Carr get benched for Jarrett Stidham. Like, I don't think anybody there believes Stidham gives him a better chance to win. So I was confused what was happening. If they're looking to trade him, I guess that makes sense. You don't need 2 more games from Derek Carr to show teams who Derek Carr is, right? Like, he's got a career at this point. His value is going to be there anyways in the trade market. You just got to keep him healthy.
Yeah. Now, this creates kind of a scary situation for the Raiders because you've got Derek Carr, clearly doesn't even want to hang around the team. They're planning on moving him. You've got Josh Jacobs. He comes out and says that he's sick and tired of this, and it's been like that for 4 years. So basically claiming on an institutional, organizational level that he doesn't like being with this Raiders organization. And now you have Devontae Adams coming out, and they asked him about Carr being benched, and he goes, I don't think anybody was excited about it being in here. I don't think anyone was excited about it in here. Him being my really good friend and the reason why I came here in the first place. Yikes. That's no good. So
yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, a little trouble in Las Vegas, sunny Paradise Boulevard there, Tommy.
Yeah, not looking so hard. That Devontae Adams quote, just the more I looked into it, the more absurd it looked. It was nice to get a little bit of clarity around the trade, but man, like I still don't quite understand the move, and it looks like the players don't understand it either. Derek Carr doesn't understand it. Devontae Adams doesn't understand it, and I'm sure we'll hear more from some more vocal players on the team as well. You guys think Derek Carr ends up getting traded or ends up back here in Vegas?
Hard to believe that they would somehow reach a resolution and have him be the starter again, unless there's a coaching change.
Yeah, that's kind of sketchy. And the thing is, with the whole narrative around the coach, that people thinking, oh, maybe maybe McDaniels is blowing it again, and maybe he's a bad coach. I feel like that makes Carr more attractive to other teams, right?
Yeah. And this is kind of what we talked about. Like we talked about this earlier in the season with the Broncos and the Raiders. With both of those teams, either the quarterback or the head coach is going to have to take the fall. Like we talked about that. Like somebody's going to get the brunt of this blame, is going to not be there next year. With the Broncos, we saw it fall. It was Nathaniel Hackett. They got rid of him. And this is now showing that it's going to be Derek Carr for the Raiders. And both of those were so predictable if you looked at where the money was, right? Like if you looked at where the money was, Josh McDaniels, they can't get out of that. they would be screwed. They are cash poor, and that contract is wild. Same with Russell Wilson for the Broncos. So, of course, they kept Josh McDaniels, and Derek Carr stuck here, taking the fall for a bad season that probably isn't on him. And I think a lot of teams are going to recognize that, to your point, Coop. Like, how often does a quarterback of Derek Carr's caliber just become available?
It's
like,
crazy, bro. It's
he's
crazy.
still great.
Let me hit you guys with some names here, and let me know who you would want as your starting quarterback next season. Some free agents here. Baker Mayfield or Derek, or let's just say any of these guys versus Derek Carr. Baker Mayfield?
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
Jimmy Garoppolo?
That's close.
Yeah, I think I lean Jimmy.
I think I lean Derek, but it's close.
Let's see. Jimmy is now 31.
Derek. I don't like calling him Derek.
Derek.
They're both 31 years
D.
old. Both these guys are the same age.
You'll give me D.
Give me D.
I'd take Derek as well. Teddy Bridgewater?
Boo.
Give me
Derek
D.
Carr.
Give me the D.
Yeah.
What did you say, Joe? Same thing?
Derek Carr.
You want that D?
I want that D. Give me D.
How about Daniel Jones?
Derek Carr.
Yeah.
How about
I'd rather have Jones.
really? Give me. Well, Daniel Jones is also only 25 years old, so maybe a little more upside, more pliable. Would you rather have Jacoby Brissett?
Although I was a fan of Jacoby Brissett, thought he played better than people thought he was going to. Give me Derek Carr.
Yeah. I'm with Simon.
Now we're getting into a couple more interesting names here. Geno Smith.
Oh, Geno. Give me Geno.
Man.
Going G-Notes?
Geno's.
That's
G-Wagon.
close. That's close. We've seen one good season out of Geno Smith. Here's if I am the Seahawks,
How many out of Derek?
specifically, I want Geno Smith. Other teams, I think I'd roll with Derek Carr because we've seen Geno Smith not be great with other teams.
I've been picking Derek Carr. Simon ain't right back. Mike
But
White.
Derek Carr's a good quarterback.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, good. He's fine. Mike White,
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
Taylor Heineke,
Derek Carr.
and I've got two more for you guys to pick from. Probably the two most enticing, and I think you're gonna pick this next one for sure. Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
Now, would you rather have one of these guys, CJ Stroud or Bryce Young?
Give me one
Derek
of the
Carr.
give me one of the two rookies.
Oh.
Ooh, yeah. CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, the two. They're. And most people suggest that those are the top two in whatever order options this year at quarterback.
Yeah. And then I see NKC asking Jalen Hurts or Derek Carr. Jalen Hurts by a landslide.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, by a bajillion
Easy.
miles. And NKC rules. I know you're a Eagles fan, so I know what you're fishing for over there, and you got it.
You got
Charles
it.
P says Hendon Hooker to the Raiders. That's the quarterback for the Tennessee Volunteers. Hey, maybe they do go for a rookie quarterback. The word is that the top couple guys always go. Someone will take a shot on them early, but quarterbacks might be available. Little later in this one, late first, mid second, if you want to take a stab. I don't think they're not suggesting this is going to be a very top heavy quarterback class. So could be some guys sprinkled throughout that you can take a stab on, and who knows? You know what I mean? We've seen quarterbacks come from different places in the draft, right? Dak Prescott was a 4th round pick. We've seen plenty of guys come from the 2nd and 3rd round, so we'll see what happens.
We'll see. I'm excited. I'm already getting excited about all the rookies. I can already feel like the rookie evaluation process and people getting mad at each other. And no, CJ Stroud's the number 1 QB. No, Bryce Young's the number 1 QB. And if you say you like both, all of a sudden everyone's mad at you the most. I can't wait for it.
It's the best part of every year.
Yeah,
The Trevor Lawrence Justin Fields debate was exhausting. That was an exhausting offseason because you weren't allowed to say both were good. People would jump down your throat if you liked both. You had to take a side.
That is how it works, though, dude. It's like you can't do that's like being a baseball fan, and you're like, the Yankees and the Red Sox, they're both just great organizations. Like you're just not allowed. You're not allowed. People that makes people most mad, right? Like they'd rather you pick the Yankees than try and pick both.
Every single time. I see NKC. What's up, Jail?
Stephanie in here asking, have the Broncos thinking of picking up the Los Angeles Chargers, Washington Commanders, or Atlanta Falcons defense. Which of those defenses are you guys focusing on?
So it was the Broncos, the who else, and the who else?
Commanders and the Falcons.
All right, friendos. Here are the matchups for
The Falcons. I thought you said Chargers at some point.
Yeah, Chargers is first.
The Broncos are playing
Chargers, Washington, Atlanta.
Okay, Chargers, Washington, Atlanta. I thought you said Broncos.
And
You're
Denver.
going to start the Broncos against the Chiefs? You outside of your mind. So the
Yeah, Broncos
Chargers
weren't in there.
The Chargers are at home with the Rams coming to town. 6.5 point spread, 40 point over under. Atlanta is at home with the Colt McCoy led Cardinals coming to town. -3, 42.5 point over under. And the other option was the
Chargers, and they're going against the Rams.
I said the Chargers already.
Washington
Okay.
against Cleveland.
Why is it so hard? Because it's like 7 in the morning. Washington,
I don't know.
Washington against Cleveland, 1.5 point favorites.
Falcons against Arizona. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Chargers here.
I like the
Against
Chargers too.
Los Angeles Rams.
Chargers look good this week. The first time, like I saw a stat that it was hard to believe, but the first time that the Chargers let up less than 13 points with Justin Herbert as quarterback, which is insane. That he's never just had a game where he could just take it easy. You know what I mean? Never a game where he can cruise, but they look good. Derwin James didn't get suspended, so he'll be playing. I'm on board with it.
Yeah, triple Chargers D. I know they haven't been great against the run this year, but you're right, Coop. They looked better last week. And they're playing the Rams, and I don't expect the Rams to drop 51 points again this week. I don't think it's going to happen. You know Baker will throw a couple knuckleballs, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Couple knuckles.
Though, Cam Akers, we got to watch out for triple touchdown Cam Akers.
Triple T. You calling it? You calling back-to-back triple touchdowns?
Absolutely not.
You heard it here first. Simon's calling it.
Simon locking that in.
Cam Akers, 3 touchdowns every game for the rest of his career. That would
ruin underdog. Like if Cam Akers scores 3 touchdowns again this week, I'm not doing underdog next year. I know they're a sponsor of my other show, but still.
Just ruins best ball entirely.
Pull me on that. That like, okay, if you didn't draft this one player, you just lose. Which kind of how it works, but still.
See Jonathan in the chat. Good morning, guys. Who do you prefer this week, Schultz or Knox? John Luke, what do you think here?
Let's see these matchups, boys. Schultz is going up against who?
Tennessee.
And Dawson Knox going up against Cincinnati.
I wish
like Dalton Schultz.
I wish Schultz had a bad matchup this week so I could fade him because he's been so annoying. You know what I mean? Like he plays the whole game, runs all the routes, and then just does not much.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that matchup's hot. Tennessee Titans.
Hot. Gotta roll with Schultz, man. If you survived with Schultz this far, you gotta roll with the Schultzster.
The Schultzster. I'm seeing there's gonna be some wind expected in this game, which sucks. But maybe that means Dak will just use that like release valve, hit Schultz a bunch.
How much
short to mid range? 11 miles an hour?
Nah, that's fine. Anything under 15 will be fine. That's according to a meteorologist that joins us on
a meteorologist.
They joins us on Sundays, not us. I'm not on that show, but you guys are on that show at 11 to 1. He comes in, and you guys still haven't asked him my question about the rain shadow effect. Pretty rude, but maybe this week, since there's no. I know last week there was all the crazy weather games and everyone was all excited, but if he comes on this week, ask him my question, please.
Okay. Coop, what you don't know is we do ask him, but Big Weather pulls some strings to keep that question off the air.
Raft.
They don't want us knowing what the rain shadow effect is. They figured out if we know about the rain shadow effect to its full capacity, it will become too powerful.
Too powerful. And then like that's like the Weather Channel keeps all the secrets behind the bomb cyclone. If we ever found it out, we wouldn't need them. We would just know when they're coming.
Exactly.
Big weather. Gotta watch out.
Big weather, big pharma, big Cinnabon.
Bacon.
You got to watch out for it. Guys, I see NKC in the chat bringing up that Derrick Henry might not be playing this week. And it's not just Derrick Henry. The Titans listed 6 starters out for Thursday night. And Derrick Henry and Danico Autry are both doubtful for tonight. But among the players listed out for the Titans, their top DT, their top 2 edge rushers, their top 2 off-the-ball linebackers, their top cornerback, and their top safety And they've got 9 defenders on IR. Mike Clay broke that down, dug into that chart, showed just how beat up this Titans defense is tonight. And then we might not see Derrick Henry. John Luke, are you just waiting for news on Derrick Henry? Or even if he does play, like is active, are you nervous to start him?
Yeah, this is a risky situation. Titans don't have much to play for. I'm not really expecting Derrick Henry to play. All the news is going to seem more on the side of he's not playing than he is playing. I've had plenty of people reach out to me, texts from friends all over asking, should they start Hassan Haskins this week? And I don't know. Hassan Haskins feels like a wild card this week. If you haven't already picked him up, I'd maybe pick him up, but I don't know if I'd be playing him here in week 17. We haven't really seen much from him. I could see this matchup just turning into the Titans just running the ball and the Cowboys just loading the box and not really much happening. So I think Hassan Haskins is a risk. Derrick Henry is a risk this week as well.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. I'm starting to, because we've seen this before where, guys have gone down and then we don't know who the next guy is. Like we were sitting here debating, is it going to be Daria Agumbawale or is it going to be Rex Burkhead? And then no. And then it turns out that it's Royce Freeman. So, like that happens to us sometimes. And who knows, it could be Julius Chestnut. We really don't know there. And I just wanted to also mention that, Simon, you kind of buried the lead there a little bit when you said the Titans would be without their top tackle. They might be their top defensive tackle. They might be without the top defensive tackle in the league. Like with Aaron Donald hurt, Jeffrey Simmons is arguably one of the best defensive interior players in the league. Like missing Jeffrey Simmons for this game is huge for this defense. So I'm not necessarily, but we weren't that scared of the Titans defense before. But if they're going to be missing Jeffrey Simmons, oh boy, could be ugly.
Oh boy,
it's going to be brutal. It's going to be brutal. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not starting Derrick Henry, even if they say he's playing tonight, because with all the news coming around, the little effect that this game has on the Titans season, they're not going to play him too much. You know what I mean? Like even if they do get him in the game, they're not going to give him 25 carries. It's not going to be the typical Derrick Henry workload. And this Tennessee Titans team, I don't think this is going to be pretty for them tonight playing the Cowboys. Do you guys know how much the Cowboys are favored by in this game on the road?
A bit. It shot up when Derrick Henry was listed as doubtful.
14.
12.5. You're close, JL. 12.5 is what the Cowboys are favored by.
That's yucky. If Tannehill and Derrick Henry were playing, where this spread would probably be more like 3 or 4, right? Somewhere in there. With Tannehill and
I think it'll be a little higher.
Yeah, maybe a little higher, but
it would probably be a touchdown or less. It'd probably be around a touchdown or less for sure. 12.5.
I was thinking like 6.5.
But not only are they 12.5 point favorites, there's only a 39.5 point over under total. So they're not expecting much from the Titans offensively in this one. Like there is not high expectations for what the Titans can get done based on a 39.5 point total and then 12.5 underdogs in this one. Pretty nasty.
We got Albert in the chat. Good morning, everyone. It's a party
Good
now.
Morning, Albert.
It's a party. Albert's here, baby. Let's
go.
What's up, Albert? And Tommy in the chat saying, I'm starting Stidham at QB and DFS this week, even against the 49ers. JMD will design a game plan, Josh McDaniels, to show he is not the problem. Stidham was drafted by the Patriots, and he knows Josh McDaniels' system. John, look, you buying into this this narrative that Josh McDaniels is going to showcase a quarterback that knows his system to try to prove he's not the problem there?
It's possible. It's possible. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't go into this game trying to win and showcase whatever he has. He should be doing that every game. I don't know why he would just start now.
You don't have a shredder to put your money in instead, Tommy? You couldn't invest that money in like something.
I got one. Just send it to me. I'll shred it for you, Tommy.
Yeah. You couldn't invest that money in like some Beanie Babies or something instead?
Beanie Babies are lit.
Because I don't know. I've seen the Jarrett Stidham experience, and there was some clamoring for him to start when he was here in New England. And then once you did see him play, it was like, oh, okay. Now I get it.
That's why he was on the bench.
That's why nobody around the organization was excited. So I don't know, brother. That could be a tough one.
Stephanie in the chat saying, thanks for your help. No problem, Stephanie. Thanks for coming in with your questions. Has one more for us. Thoughts on Rachaad White? Was thinking of picking him up and getting rid of Gibson. Wilson, or Edmonds. So Antonio Gibson, Jeff Wilson, or Chase Edmonds. Coop, would you drop any of those three players for Rachaad White?
So Antonio Gibson hasn't even practiced all week, so that could be an easy drop, right? Like you might not even need to think about it. If he's ruled out, you can just drop him. Like unless you play week 18, right? So probably just drop Gibson. You're probably not going to start Gibson anyway since he's banged up. So I would probably just do that. And if not, I would drop Chase Edmonds because those aren't guys you would throw in there, right? Jeff Wilson, at least he's the goal line back for a good team. But I would pick up Rachaad White.
Yeah, Rachaad White is the play out of that list that you gave us, and then I would put Jeff Wilson in there. Would be my second choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I had no problem dropping Gibson or Edmonds.
Yeah, me neither.
And then from Eddie in here, Eddie said flex in a PPR league needs to start one. J.K. Dobbins, Zach Moss, or DeAndre Swift. John Luke, which one of those running backs would you be throwing into your flex spot in a PPR league?
Give them to me more. Who was the last one?
Dobbins, Zach Moss, and DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift, right. And we know it's okay. This full PPR. In that case, I'm going to lean Swift here. In full PPR, you only need one. So yeah, I'm going to lean Swift out of this group.
What about you, Coop?
Yeah, I'm going Swift as well, especially with Jamal Williams banged up.
Yeah, they have Chicago. That matchup's really good. Chicago's run defense is
right. Yeah, he played over 50% of the snaps this week, so at least he's got the snap share. So lock it in.
No temptation for J.K. Dobbins.
I mean, a little, but not really.
Yeah, they split the carries, which kind of frustrates me a little bit.
Yeah, I think I'm going DeAndre Swift here as well. J.K. Dobbins was the name that stood out to me initially. I think it's just being a bit jaded about DeAndre Swift over the back half of this season, but I do think he's the best play. I'm with you guys.
If it's non-PPR, maybe.
So that makes a difference for you with Dobbins.
Yeah.
Makes sense. See, I saw a quote from Russell Wilson yesterday whenever he was asked about Nathaniel Hackett being fired. He said he's devastated by the Broncos' decision to part ways with Nathaniel Hackett and said, I wish I could have played better for him. When I read that, I immediately read it and like, oh, I'm so devastated. I really wish I could have played better for him. Like, that's how I read it. And I'm like, I can't unhear it that way. No, you're not, Russell Wilson. This is the worst season of your career by a mile. And I know you personally and specifically blame Nathaniel Hackett. I'm positive of it.
I don't know. Russell Wilson kind of strikes me as a sensitive guy. I think he's sensitive. And I think he does feel a little bad that Nathaniel Hackett just got absolutely raked over the coals because he's not playing well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, man, because it's hard not to put the blame on yourself if you're the quarterback in the most important part of the offense and the team, and the coach gets fired. So I don't know. I think Russ, he could be sincere here. But that's what a mess. What a mess they're in. Would you rather be in the Broncos position or in the Raiders position?
Broncos,
Raiders.
elite defense.
Oh.
Yeah, the Broncos do have a defense at least.
Raiders have draft picks though, right?
The
They got Mark Davis. Man.
Yeah. PF Chang's.
I think I'd rather be Broncos, yeah.
Yeah.
If you can get an average quarterback play out of Russell Wilson or throw someone average in there, you suddenly probably have a playoff team in the Broncos. Like, you just need that offense to be middle of the pack, and you're going to have a playoff team. The Raiders, their offense could be top 10, and they could still not be a playoff team with the defense they have. So I'll take the Broncos for sure.
Yeah. I just want to see what the Broncos look like with a different offense, a different coach, because we think about the flip with the Jaguars, right? We talk about the players are the most important thing, but obviously a bad coach can mess things up. And look at the Jaguars, a couple pieces changed, but going from Urban Meyer to Doug Peterson, night and day in the culture, in the production, in the winning. So let's see what they look like with a different coach. And then we can decide if Russell Wilson was just a product of Pete Carroll or if he's actually good. I think he's actually good.
I think so too. That would be a shocking development if he just continues to be bad and was just a system QB with Pete Carroll. I refuse to believe it. Squirrel Bob in here said draft picks. Raiders, they'll just be gone within a year or two. Yeah, they haven't had the best track record with their early round draft picks. Some
No, they have not.
Alex Leatherwood, anybody?
John
Or,
Gruden just the
Cleveland
absolute
Farrell,
worst.
number 4 overall. And don't get me wrong, I loved Cleveland Farrell at Clemson, but number 4 overall, preposterous. Hasn't been going well. Charles wanted to know, with all the Titans out, Dak will not have to throw a lot. Would you pivot to Goff? Coop, are you going Dak Prescott or Jared Goff?
I'm going. Let's see. Let me check how I have those puppies ranked, but I'm fairly confident I'm going Dak Prescott.
What about you, John Luke?
Yeah, Jared Goff is enticing in this matchup here against Chicago, but it's hard to go away from Dak. It's hard to go away from Dak right now, and he's got a nice matchup going against Tennessee, like you mentioned.
Yep.
They got lean Dak.
I have Dak head.
Yeah, they're both great starts. I'm going to roll Dak Prescott out there as well. The only concern is like if they go up mega big and don't need Dak Prescott to play in the third, fourth quarter or something along those lines, because this Tennessee defense is not kind of beat up. It is incredibly beat up. The offense is going to be led by Malik Willis, potentially without Derrick Henry. Like,
it's going to be bad.
It's looking really bad. It's looking really bad.
The good news is the Cowboys won last week, which means that if they win all their games and the Eagles lose all their games, then the Cowboys can still technically win the division. I wish the Eagles were playing at 4:00 though, because they play at the same time. So if the Eagles, like, these guys look around the league, they know what's going on. If the Eagles go out big against the Saints and the Cowboys go up big in their game, then they might just bench the starters because they know that the game wouldn't matter. If the Eagles come out and by halftime they're winning like 21-0, then the Cowboys game doesn't matter anyway.
Well, the Cowboys are playing tonight.
Oh, they are playing. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. Why was I thinking they were playing at 1? So yeah, that's great. The Cowboys have to play to win. So that's great.
There we go.
I don't see why they would.
Merry Christmas, Coop.
Hey, thank you.
Wish granted. They play at different times.
Dude,
I took care of that right there.
Immediately granted.
They were actually supposed to play at 1, but I have them switch up the football schedule right there.
So nice of you.
You used one of your 3 wishes on that for me. I owe you one. I owe you one, buddy.
One wish. Yes,
where were you? Where were
First
you?
one was for the Atari hat.
Great.
Second wish was for that mushroom sweatshirt. Third wish was for your schedule change.
Wow. I think you nailed it. Knocked it out of the park on all 3, bud.
Yes, I mean, you nailed that one.
Crushed.
Pretty happy with it. Now, wish I had one more wish, though.
What would you get?
If I had one more wish, I would get a fountain pen that never runs out of ink and never dries out.
There you go.
I could leave the lid off.
Write it down,
Nothing would
Santa.
matter. Santa Claus,
Right.
if you're out there listening to me, that's what I want next year for Christmas.
What brand?
Pilot, of course.
Classic.
Give me a classic
Classy.
Pilot. Jolly Rancher, my mom in the chat saying, got it.
Got it.
If you know someone that makes magical fountain pens, Mom, then you have
Been holding
connections
out.
that I didn't even know about. NKC had a question in here for us. Said, who do you guys think is better to make the playoffs, Jags or Titans? Jags.
Jaguars.
I think it's more fun, and I think they're the better team right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And their quarterback's not hurt. And their running back's not hurt.
Yeah,
And
all positive things, really. Everything's really looking their way.
And their star defensive tackle isn't hurt.
And they don't have
Titans,
9 defensive players on IR.
Right. The Titans are a mess right now. Just get them out. Get them out.
Titans have benefited from having that early season start, like a really good start, and then it's been downhill. Jaguars have the opposite, I feel like.
You know what team's got to be happy that the Titans are struggling is the Bills, man, because the Titans seem to give the Bills fits. That's like one of the few teams. Every once in a while, you have a team that just matches up well against your team. It used to happen with the Patriots and the Ravens, where the Ravens were the only team that would really come in and beat the Patriots.
Got your number.
I know they did. They had the Patriots number, and the Titans have kind of been that team with the Bills. For some reason, the Titans, they knocked them out of the playoffs a couple years ago. They just like that's been the anti-Bills. So Bills are not losing any sleep over the Titans not making the playoffs this year.
Albert in here said, do you guys think Pollard plays tonight? Coop, you expecting Pollard to step on that field?
So the interesting thing with Pollard, and this might just be a case of somebody else scheduled this tweet for him, but yesterday he tweeted, and he hasn't practiced all week, but yesterday he tweeted, another week, another game, another chance to rush some yards for St. Jude's. For the rest of the season, I'm pledging $15 for every yard to help raise funds for their great mission. Click below to pledge or donate with me. Hashtag finding cures. Hashtag saving children. So it'll be kind of funny for him to be like, hey, help me save the children for every yard I get this week while I'm not playing.
0 yards.
0 yards. Like I'm guessing that was a scheduled tweet that he didn't write, but at the same time, like kind of weird timing for him to be like, hey, I'll donate a bunch of money for every yard I get this week. Also, I'm not playing.
He didn't practice yesterday, which is interesting. He's just going to go into the game like one day of practice.
I don't think he's playing. We're going to find out today, obviously, but I think he's not playing, which means it's Zeke time. Get him in your lineups. I'm starting Zeke everywhere if Pollard's out. I have a dynasty league where I have both, and I've been starting Pollard and only starting Zeke in certain matchups, but I'm moving Zeke up to the RB1 chair if Tony Pollard's out.
Yeah, 100%. Especially in this game where they're 12.5 point favorites, right? You expect them to go a big, and if Pollard's not playing, Zeke is going to see so much work.
Yeah.
Eddie had another question in here for us. Says, does ETN play a lot this week? John Luke, with this game not really mattering for the Jaguars' playoff chances here, do you expect to see a lot of ETN?
Probably not. If they do, I still think that they probably limit him. I think the Jaguars are not going to have an issue going against the Houston Texans here, but maybe we see the Texans actually give the Jaguars a game. And then in that case, they might need to lean on ETN, but I think it's most likely they're going to at least limit him in some way. It's hard to predict exactly how much until we start to see the game script start to unfold, but I think it's very likely that they do limit him.
I think with the Jaguars and Titans, it's kind of interesting when you mess around with 538 with the odds maker there. If this game really doesn't matter for either team. Neither game matters for either team. When they play each other next week, the winner of that game clinches the division and wins and makes playoffs. It's crazy. So like, I'm not surprised that the Titans are resting a ton of people tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Jaguars did the same, which is not cool for fantasy football, but they don't care about fantasy football. Only Austin Eckler cares about fantasy football. Let me correct that. One player cares about fantasy
Even
football.
then, I think if you had to if you prioritized his stuff, I don't think he'd choose fantasy football over NFL.
Making the playoffs.
I think it's just that he likes fantasy football, but he's not going to, alter what he's doing.
The game in week 18 is what matters for both these teams. So kind of stinks for fantasy football for this week, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Charles said hasty time.
You think it's hasty time? Would you be starting any JaMychal Hasty this week?
Starting? No.
Sniffing?
And sniffing, enjoying watching him maybe play? Yes.
I'm going to be doing a lot of thinking really hard about JaMychal Hasty and then inevitably not putting him in any DraftKings lineups. And then when he scores, I'll say, I almost put him in my lineups. That's what I'm.
Old as time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do this weekend. If you really want to know, so maybe you should sneak him in a lineup. You sneak him in one.
Maybe in a DFS lineup, I'll get him in there. But I don't have the cojones to plug in JaMychal Hasty without news that Travis Etienne is fully not playing. And even then, that would be a ballsy move.
What if
That'd
we
be
had
a ballsy move. Who's nudes? JaMychal Hasty's?
Grab bag could be anybody.
Oh, that's terrifying. No, thank you. No, I'm not even opening my phone. I won't be able to make the move to start it because I don't want to just be inundated with random nudes. No, thank you. None at all. And then Swansea Sea Snakes. What's up? Good morning. And you're saying Hasty's profile pick on fantasy always makes me want to start him. What is his profile pick on the fantasy platforms? Now you got me so curious. I'm gonna have to look that up, Swansea.
It's pretty. Is it the one where he's got like the egghead? That's funny. Yahoo specifically. Yeah, that's my buddy from home. And his team, the Swansea Sea Snakes.
Nailed it.
It's
Yeah.
not sneeze now.
That's nice. They're playing for the championship in a very prestigious league, a league that's been going since 2001. So this is a long time league. The Swansea Sea Snakes against the Falmouth Foxes. Not every team in the league has alliteration, but maybe that's a secret to making it to a championship in this league. Because my team, the Wild Thornberries, did not do so good this year. We had quite a few injuries. Lost Javonte. My season started with just an IR full of guys. Dak, Javonte Williams, Keenan Allen, we were in a rough spot. We battled, but didn't quite make it. Banner number 2 coming soon. I'm pulling for you. Skins.
Guys, coming up, we are going to play some Fast Guy Quick Time. Then we've got the Moreau You Know coming your way, where we share some things we've learned over the past couple of weeks. We're going to do a TV channel draft and some Thursday night football predictions as well. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Call, chat, and enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0. Moose and Keith.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah till he was about 19.
Nice. So, your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to him. I would say about 13, he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required. And then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So, yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, that this could be something he really wants to do.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
You don't need to be like right 100% of the time.
No, there was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day, because somebody was like, we have the technology to track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
a 60-year-old dude eyeballing it, and then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you think we could probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah, it's like we have
satellite. Like if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you first they just go here, and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, it doesn't count. Sorry. Couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And they bring out the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't.
and I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
And I love that. It's and not to mention that dude's trying to make the spot, and the player always tosses the ball right into his face. Right? He's coming over to spot it, and it's every other time the player's just here you go. Here's another thing to juggle.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Is it me, Ray, or is the only publicity that Microsoft Surface has gotten out of their whole thing on the sideline is people throwing them to the ground in anger? Is that just a me thing? Or the only time I hear about this device, Ray, is when somebody is chucking it on the ground, just pissed off at it, which I get it. All of us are in that world. We love to do that. Only in the NFL, Ray, can they get away with it because these are free. There's no cost. It's part of the sponsorship. Here's 5,000 Microsoft tablets to get you through the NFL season, and these players are just slamming them down. It's like they've become Gilbert on the sideline, and they're so frustrated. They're just the only publicity this company and this product has gotten is negative.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to get into some Fast Guy Quick Time. Before we do that, though, a couple comments I wanted to hit. Swansea Sea Snakes, I'm cheering for you, but the core that you laid out, I am not excited about. There's problems with every single player. King Henry, Josh Jacobs, and Tyreek Core. Well, you've got King Henry, probably not playing. You've got Josh Jacobs with Jarrett Stidham under center. Hopefully, maybe they rely on Josh Jacobs, but that offense might be a mess. And then Tyreek Hill with Teddy Bridgewater chucking him the ball. It's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle, Swansea Sea Snakes. Best of luck. And then NKC wants to know, do you think the Commanders will make the playoffs? Coop, you think the Commanders are going to sneak in?
Nah, they need a lot to go their way. They need to win both these games against the Browns and the Cowboys. I don't know. I think, there's a possibility if the Cowboys kind of mail it in the last week of the season. So if you're rooting for the Commanders, then you are rooting for the Cowboys to win and the Eagles to lose to keep that last game. Or actually, you're rooting for the other way. You're rooting for the Eagles to win and the Cowboys to lose. That the Cowboys don't care about the last week of the season. But it's interesting. I don't think they do sneak in, and I don't want them to. I don't think they're that good of a team. They're not really exciting to watch. I'd rather some of these other teams. I'd rather see the Lions in there.
100%. I don't want to watch Carson Wentz in the playoffs. Don't make me watch Carson Wentz in the playoffs.
Give me Geno Smith. Give me Geno Smith. Give me the Lions. Like those are the teams I want to see.
100%. Dustin in here saying, morning, boys. Good morning, Dustin. Welcome in. Glad to have you here. Guys, we're about to get into our game we call Fast Guy Quick Time. It's the game where we ask the contestants a series of rapid fire questions. There is one rule and one rule only, and it is don't think, just speak. Don't think, just speak. Get your first answer out.
Just speak.
You got it, JL. Wow, you learn quickly. You got the rules so fast. It's like you came up with them yourself or something.
Yeah.
I spent too much time thinking about them.
You do.
We're gonna break you.
Go quick.
I mean, we're gonna break that habit, not break you.
We're gonna break you.
We're gonna break your will. I mean,
I will break you. Okay.
John Luke, I think you usually go second or third in this game, and it's about damn time you let us off going first for some Fast Guy Quick Time. I got your questions ready. I had most of your questions ready on Monday. Added a couple over the past day. I'm ready to start asking these. You ready to play Fast Guy Quick Time, John Luke?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Here we go. Remember, what's the rule?
Don't think, JL. Don't think.
You got it. 3, 2, 1. Favorite holiday song?
Christmas shoes.
Lemon or lime?
Lemon.
Best writing utensil?
Pencil.
Best kitchen utensil?
Knife.
Sexy name for a Christmas elf?
Shorty.
Worst sport?
Basketball.
Celebrity you'd want to tandem skydive with?
Kumail Nanjiani.
Your New Year's resolution?
Stop recommending Carlito's Way to people.
The name of a rom-com about 2 cats?
Meowth.
Best Starburst color?
Yellow.
Suitable punishment for waiting too long to answer in Fast Guy Quick Time?
Death.
Dog breed most likely to be an alien?
Hog breed?
Dog breed most likely to be an alien?
Ooh, Chihuahua.
Salty or sweet?
Salty.
Worst place to be naked?
Your bed.
Best place to be naked?
Your bed.
Most neutral place to be naked?
The library.
Great job, JL.
Your bed would have been the perfect answer for most neutral place to be naked. And even with the library. That game's tough, dude. Death. Yeah.
MKC in the chat said death. What?
If the penalty was death, I would be dead because I struggle with this one. I can't handle it. You did good on that one, dude. You did good on that one. I like
basketball. I don't know why I said it was the worst sport.
I know. Bro. I said my
just
favorite.
Panicked.
This game convinced me to say my favorite beer was Bud Light, and it also convinced Joey to say that the celebrity that he would want wasn't the celebrity that he would let punch him just so that he could touch him. He picked Michael Jackson. That is the all-time number one bad answer on this game. But let's see if we can beat that here.
Also, Dustin, and you're saying, "Ew, Christmas shoes, really, JL?"
Oh, it's a terrible song. It's terrible.
Why does this game make you say things you entirely don't mean?
Oh,
like
dude,
your brain betrays you in this game.
Yeah,
it says, watch the prank I'm going to pull on you, on yourself."
Sexy elf name, Shorty. Perfect. That was a great answer, dude.
Thank you.
And is the yellow starburst your favorite?
Yellow or pink? I like
yellow
both.
or pink.
It lines up with your lemon answer earlier. I was just keeping an eye on that stuff.
Yeah. I like to smash the two together and eat them as one.
Little pink lemonade, little strawberry lemonade.
Exactly.
You know what I have in my freezer right now that I bought weeks ago and haven't eaten because I've been saving it for the day where it feels just right? It is a Starburst, pink Starburst sorbet frozen popsicle. My girlfriend had one. I bought 2 of them. She ate the other one, said it tasted just like a pink Starburst, exactly like it. So I have a pink Starburst, dairy-free ice cream treat in the freezer waiting for me.
Ooh, that's hot.
Yeah.
I'm
Are
so
we
excited.
are we sponsored by them?
Sponsored
Should
by
be.
Juicy
Because
Starburst.
you just sold a bunch of this household.
Before we get into our next round here, Albert said, if Pollard is out, would you guys go with Brian Robinson or Tyler Algier in half PPR?
Brian
Where are you
Robinson.
rolling here?
Brian Robinson, 100%.
Brian Robinson.
Antonio Gibson's banged up, might be out, in which case Brian Robinson would be like an RB1 because he gets the Cleveland Browns, which you can run on. They're letting up a ton of fantasy points to running backs. It's a good spot for Brian Robinson, even if Antonio Gibson plays. And if Antonio Gibson is out, I might start Brian Robinson over Tony Pollard. How crazy is that, Albert? I think at this point, I'm just putting Brian Robinson in there because Pollard hasn't practiced all week. Yeah, JL, it's real. That's real, dog.
I will say Tyler Algier is not far behind. He's got a
not.
very good matchup this week. I expect both these guys to be low-end RB2s.
Yep.
But I'm with Coop. I'm starting Robinson, and I'm definitely starting either of these guys over Pollard, given the uncertainty, unless we hear something from out of the Cowboys camp that Pollard is for sure playing. Like if that confidence increases, then I'd switch.
If somebody comes out and says, just kidding, Tony Pollard's fully healthy and he was just relaxing for the holidays, and also, by the way, Zeke is out, then I would start Tony Pollard.
And also, by the way, every yard Pollard gets goes to St. Jude's.
And $15 goes to St. Jude for every yard he gets. Yeah. I mean,
God,
so
every time I think about St. Jude's now, I just like in anything charity related. Like I know it was the Salvation Army, but all these charity initiatives, that Devonta Smith touchdown celebration was just so ludicrous. The robbing of the charity bucket. Like I love it so much. I can't think of a celebration that has made me like react that much in such a long time. Like
does that count as using a prop since he didn't touch it?
Oh, he's gonna get fined.
You think?
if that's your question. Yeah, like he should probably get fined just for the invisible ski mask prop.
It's freaking awesome.
He probably
should get reverse fined.
What they should have done instead of the ski mask and kicking down the door, they should have been a little more grinchy about it. Like kind of like tiptoed in. Then it would then you can at least say it was a Christmas celebration. This one was not a Christmas celebration.
No, I like the full on robbery.
Christmas for someone.
I love it.
Yeah,
I absolutely
Christmas
love it.
in the hood, dude.
John Luke, you went first here, so I'm gonna let you decide. Who do you want to go next? Do you want me or Coop to go next in Fast Guy Quick Time? You're in charge.
Coop, you'll be going next.
Hey,
Diamondbacks! Look at you.
He said, "Hey," as he lifted up his shirt. You clown.
Let's go. Let's get this over with. God,
all right, Coop. This I'm gonna be looking down because this is where my list is. Normally I have it up here, but I'm not ignoring you. Are you ready, Coop?
No. Nope.
All right, settle. We got this. All right, Coop. Who's your daddy?
John Cooper.
Favorite dinosaur?
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Coolest sports team?
Patriots.
Job you wouldn't want?
A dumpster cleaner.
Song that you like but other people probably don't like?
Wham! Last Christmas.
What floor are you on?
First.
Who's your man crush?
Dick Skinner.
Which animated character would you want to voice?
Hey Arnold.
Who's the definitive NFL GOAT?
Tom Brady.
Finish the following sentence. The NFL is full of
Studs.
a terrible first date idea.
Bowling with Simon.
If you made your own Madden character, his name would be
Jadinklage Morgoon.
favorite catchphrase.
Jadinklage Morgoon is coming to get you.
What's 3 times 4.5?
16.
How do you spell Tennessee?
Tennessee.
Who's your daddy?
John Cooper.
Well done, Coop.
Should have said Tom Brady at the end.
Who is Nick Skinner?
Nick Skinner is Swansea Sea Snakes in the chat.
Because I like Googled Nick Skinner and it was like Nick Skinner Facebook profiles.
That's
like I was looking for a celebrity and I was like, huh.
No, that's Swansea. That's Swansea Sea Snakes in the Better Sports chat there.
Well done.
We made it through. I had the one hang up on the song that I like that others don't like? Because there's so many. There's so many that my brain was like, we need to pick one that's real.
Coop's like, my music taste is terrible.
All of it.
Dude, the crazy part is I hate that song. That is like my least favorite Christmas song ever, and I picked it as the song I like.
It's number 3 on my list. They got bumped to number 3 this year. It was number 1, but the past 2 years I've bumped one song ahead of it each year.
Here's the reason that I hate that song. It's very specific because I used to work at a Polo Ralph Lauren outlet store at the Rentham outlets, and they just play all the Christmas songs like over and over and over. And you do like an 8-hour shift and, you know, like multiple days a week, and you hit them all. The thing is, there are so many people that have a version of that song. That's the most covered Christmas song by far. Everyone sings it. So that song would literally come on back to back sometimes. It would be like Michael Bublé would sing it, and then Miley Cyrus would sing it the very next song. So like that song is just burned into my brain. I cannot listen to that song anymore.
None of them are George Michael. They wish they could be George
Michael's. That's the one that comes on, and I'm like, finally, the one is on.
Thank God for giving me some George Michael right there.
Freedom.
God for George
comes
Michael.
on, I'm
Well
just like,
done, Coop. I
freedom.
like the name you came up with. Jadinkledge Morgoon.
Unfortunately, that's from a Key and Peele football skit. So I didn't come up with that one. I can't take credit for that one. It's that's a funny football skit if you haven't seen it.
That is, yeah. The whole Key and Peele ones are great.
Yeah.
All right, Coop. You did well. Simon, you are next. Are you ready?
I was enjoying just kind of watching you guys do it. I'm ready, but my heart starts racing. I get a little tense right before it's my turn.
All right, Simon, here is your questions. Who's your daddy?
JL. Shoot.
Funniest nickname?
Poopy Sniff Farter.
Say something you don't want to say.
Poopy Sniff Farter.
Object that is sentimental to you.
Patton.
What reminds you of Joey Wright?
Movies.
Phrase that annoys you.
Fair enough.
Food you'll only try once.
Beef jerky.
Food you'll never try.
Ketchup.
Muppet you can relate to.
Oscar the Grouch.
Conspiracy theory you'd like to start.
That the chemtrails are actually the cause of acid rain.
Finish the following sentence. Don't sleep on.
A hard pillow.
What's invisible but you wish people could see?
My love for Darnell Mooney.
Best Wi-Fi router name.
To fly for a Wi-Fi.
In 40 years, what will you be nostalgic for?
Being 28.
Least favorite superpower.
Invisibility.
Nice. Why is this your least favorite?
I don't know. It just seems stressful. And it also seems like a bad one for me because I feel like one of my primary coping mechanisms is avoidance. Like whenever things are tough, like avoid. And I've like worked really hard on that. But if I could turn invisible, oh dear God. You'd never have to face a problem. You'd just turn invisible.
Yeah. So after watching a couple episodes of the show The Boys, I don't know if I really like invisibility anymore. One of the rules is you have to get completely naked. And I don't know. I don't know if I could get used to that. Just walking around naked, thinking to yourself, like, am I invisible or not right now? Like, what if I'm not invisible?
You would have to trust fully that you actually were invisible and not that you were just insane and thought that you could turn invisible.
Yeah.
Because one, you're ending up in some sort of incarcerated state.
I actually, you know what? I think people would let you know pretty quickly if you weren't invisible. Like, I think you could try
Hey,
that
guy,
out
you're
on,
naked.
on one neighbor. Know what I mean? Like, you just walk out your front door and wave to your neighbor, and if they freak out, you're not invisible. But if they don't wave back, then you're probably good.
You're probably good. Yeah.
Remember when we first started the show and Coop accidentally exposed himself to his neighbor?
Yeah. I hate when that happens.
Started out with a morning pain. We got some people in the chat with a question in here. Squirrel Bob wanted to know at the end of Fast Guy Quick Time here, can Zeke still handle a full workload? So if we don't see Pollard tonight, Coop, you think Zeke can handle a full workload?
Yeah, I think so. For one game at least. I don't think it's been a matter of him not being able to handle full workload. It's just that they have complementary pieces. Zeke is good between the tackles. He's good at getting the yard. He has a touchdown. In the games he's played, he has a touchdown in 8 straight. 8 straight. A couple of those games he has 2. Like, that's the thing about Zeke for fantasy football. If he's been in your lineup, he's had a minimum of 6 points every game, right? So he can handle it. It's just that Tony Pollard does some things better than him at this point. He's better in open space. He's better at catching the ball in the backfield. He's better at returning kicks and punts. So complementary pieces. That doesn't mean Zeke can't go a game where he gets 30 carries. I think he easily could.
I'm with you. I fully agree. And Jolly Rancher coming in here. Coop, I bet you didn't know you were a gymnophobe, but it sounds like you are based on the last thing you said. Gymnophobia is an inordinate fear or hatred of nudity. So you don't want to be invisible because you're a gymnophobe.
Yeah, see, I don't mind being naked to a certain in the right areas, like JL suggested,
like the library,
his bed, or the library. Yeah, that's fine with me. It's just like the idea of walking around in public and not knowing whether you're invisible or naked, or invisible and naked. I don't like that.
And Maria said, in Mystery Men, he can only turn invisible when no one was looking.
Most useless superpower.
That would drive me to insanity. That would truly drive me to insanity. No one would ever believe you. Not for 1 second.
I like 96 Tupac's question in the chat.
Can we talk football?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
30 questions in the chat.
Sometimes. Yeah, 30 questions in the chat. Hey, 96 Tupac, can you answer that question? No. We'll talk about whatever we feel like talking about. Which
but
a lot of times that is football. A lot of times that is football.
Yes. Will we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably not.
Yeah. A lot of times that is football, but hey, it's also the morning show. You know what I mean? We're trying to wake you up with a little razzle dazzle sometimes, you know?
With a little razzle dazzle.
If you've got questions about football or not about football, you can throw them in the chat. We'll be more than happy to answer those for you guys.
The show.
Faux show. Also, Joey in here said, in regards to the sleepy movie situation on the other day's show, we had a user theory I'd like to share.
Call in.
Yeah, the comments on that video were unbelievable. And Coop, it struck a chord a little bit. There were some funny comments about significant others falling asleep during movies out there. So people, it was a relatable topic for some, I'm guessing. Relatable topic. Guys,
where do I find these comments? Are they on the FYF
YouTube? They're on the FYF YouTube. You guys can head over
YouTube.
there. YouTube.
I was trying to set you up for a promo, like to kind of plug our YouTube channel, and you go YouTube.
That's my promo. Now, if you guys want to check out that video and our other videos or other live streams, we got 2 more today. Head on over to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Hit that subscribe button. Come hang out with us a little bit later today. As well, if you're not sick of us after 3 hours here, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you over there. But guys, coming up, we are going to get into the Moreau You Know, and I'm excited for us to share some things we've learned over the last couple weeks. Then it's time for a TV channel draft, and then we're moving into Thursday night football predictions. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Join Corey Nando and friends, presented by Mayo Media, weekdays at 3 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
You teased me about this before the show. Like, you've gone nuts with ticket stubs over the last.
And like I said, I texted you last week, right? So I started out just going through and tripping off and looking for some Dallas Cowboy things. I was telling my son if there was a game that we allowed him to, we said, listen, you with this Washington Redskins thing is aggravating me. 5 years old. You got to pick a team today and stick with it. Whoever wins the game is going to be your team. Washington won the game. And I started thinking about it. It'd be cool to have something from that game. There's a ticket stub for it, right? So when I found this, I started finding more ticket stubs, Nando, and I was like, this is pretty interesting stuff right here, right? So then the next one I kind of caught my eye with another Washington-Dallas game where
I hope these are like $11 ticket stubs here, man, because like there's no significance to these at all except for Corey Parson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not much. So I ended up getting the last time they were called the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
They played the Cowboys.
All right.
Scoop that up for like $4. You know what I'm saying?
Smart.
Now, here's something I got last night. $12, right? You may think this is cool. You might not. Kevin Durant's last game as a Texas Longhorn.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually.
How about this? The Fab Five versus Duke in the national championship.
That's a good one. $30.
Coach K's second championship, $35.
All right, not bad. Tyler in the background's talking about the Redskins-Cowboys scab game. The Redskins won on Monday Night Football in '87.
That's an interesting one right there. That's a classic. How about this one?
Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3's got it. I bet you that's a $450 ticket at least.
I'm about to tell you about a wrestling one I saw on here. I bought this one just because of how cool it is right here. 1986 Monday Night Football, Washington and Dallas. Check out the ticket.
Tom Landry?
Tom Landry on the ticket.
Nice.
$2
That's a piece of
flat
art.
right there. Yeah, it's a piece of art.
That's a piece
You know
of
what
art.
I'm saying?
What are you gonna
Tom
do with
Landry
these?
on the ticket. I have no clue yet. I gotta figure it out. I'm gonna have them. That's what I'm gonna do with them. So listen to this one that I saw, right? I saw the ticket from remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin drove the beer truck down to the ring and pulled out the beer hose and sprayed the rock within
That's after my time.
I saw that one, Denver at the Pepsi Center. That ticket, Nando, was online. $850. If I had $850, I would have bought that one, Nando. You know what I'm saying? That one, because that was a legendary Stone Cold moment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's things like that. I think the ticket thing, Nando, obviously you want to chase the big items, but I think it lies in what's important to you.
Join Corey, Nando, and Friends, presented by Mayo Media, weekdays at 3 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
It's Fantasy Football Championship Week, and we're helping you bring home the title on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. It's in the game.
Auto game.
Whoa. Ow. I meant, sorry, my bad. I accidentally went the wrong direction with the tone.
I think Coop let out one, but it was so quiet. It's like a little mouse fart.
It's so quiet that we still can't even hear
There
it.
it is. Yeah, I had one. Mine was really low, like Simon's. I also went heavy metal with it.
Nice.
I don't know why this reminded me. I saw a video yesterday of there's been lots of TikToks of like kids opening presents, right? And their reactions, and most of them are like, "Oh my god!" And these parents, like in the little notes, it said like, "We got her Taylor Swift tickets." And this girl, she's like 10 years old, but she has a full-on like punk rock shag mullet. She is wearing a Death Skulls bathrobe with skulls all over, and I'm like, oh, she's not gonna like Taylor Swift tickets. And she opens it up and looks at him. She goes, "Taylor Swift. I'm not really a big fan." Like, there wasn't like disappointment in the gift, but she just let them know, like, "Hey guys, like, that's cool. I know you went through a lot of work, or spent a lot of money to get these, but like,
You had to mortgage your second house to probably get that.
do you know me?"
Wait,
like,
that doesn't
is
make
what
sense.
it felt like this 10-year-old was saying, like, as she's wearing her like death metal bathrobe and is saying, like, "Do you even know who I am, Dad?" Like, I don't like Taylor Swift.
It's a really sad TikTok. It's just neglect.
Why would they post that? Like, that's either staged or I hope it's staged. Let's put it that way. That they were like, "Here's your real present." After, but we just did this for the internet fame.
Yeah, either way, sad. I'm sitting here laughing, but I hope there's a present you liked more after that. Guys, we are about to get into a segment we call the Moreau You Know, a segment where we share things that we have learned, interesting stories, cool facts, or things that we think the other people may not know about. In this case, John Luke, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first in today's the Moreau You Know?
I can go first. Go first. This one is interesting. I had no idea about this story. It's a short one though. It goes back to why the Raiders are named the Raiders, the history of the Raiders. Are you guys familiar with this?
I'm not.
No.
So what happened is the Raiders were the late throw-in essentially in the American Football League in 1960, and Oakland called them the Senors for 9 days. No Enye, so it was really just Senors. That was the official name of the Oakland team.
The Senors.
The Senors. After the Name the Team contest in the Oakland Tribune, so much fan and media backlash, a new contest was held in the paper and the Raiders won out. But for 9 whole days, 9 glorious days, the Oakland Raiders were named the Oakland Senors.
I wish they were still named the Senors. That's a fun name for a football
That's a
team.
really fun name.
That's
for a
also
team. But
shout out the newspaper contest participants, because you would never get a name like Raiders today if you ran a public contest to determine the name of a football team.
Yeah.
You'd get Quotey McQuote or something like that.
Something penis related.
Exactly. It wouldn't work out as well. Also, Tommy in the chat says, "I have a Senors jersey."
Senors jersey.
Of course you do.
I
Tommy.
want one so bad.
Of course you do.
9 days.
That's freaking awesome. That's awesome. I did not know that. I feel like I didn't know there were old team name facts in the NFL that I didn't know. Know what I mean? I feel like those are pretty about the teams that don't exist anymore, the ones that shifted places, the ones that had old names. But the Senors is a new one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I did not know that one either.
What would you rather your team name be? The Senors, no Enye, or the Raiders?
The Senors, no Enye.
The Senors, no Enye.
No Enye. That's going to be my fantasy team name next year.
with the caveat on there.
No, it's going to
Sonora's
say
no
it's going to say it's spelled out. Sonora's no Enye.
That's a really fun one, JL. Where'd you find that out? Just Googling?
The internet.
The internet. Well, I also found out about mine on the internet, but before we get to that, we got a question from Eric in here. Eric says, if Pollard doesn't play, I'll need a flex. Who would you choose? James Cook, Zach Moss, Darius Slayton, or Demarcus Robinson, or even Haskins? Where are you going, Coop?
I personally like Zach Moss. I mean, we had some questions about whether he was going to be the starter or whether Deion Jackson was going to be the starter. Well, it turns out Deion Jackson only played 8 snaps. In fact, the other running back on their team also played 8 snaps. Just kind of, it was Jordan Wilkins also played 8 snaps. Meanwhile, Zach Moss played 35. So for me, when I look at this group of guys, Darius Slayton's probably the next most interesting, but he's also in a mix with 2 other wide receivers that got more targets than him this week. Slayton plays on the outside. He could see a good amount of Stephon Gilmore this week. So you're running a bit of a risk with Slayton. With Zach Moss, I just feel like you're getting a guy who at this point is in line for 70% of the snaps, 60, 70% of the snaps. And there's not many running backs out there that are available that you can just plug in with that snap share. So I would start Zach Moss.
I'm with you, Coop. I'm going Zach Moss as well. That matchup against the Giants is decent too.
And make it a triple agree here. It's going to be Zach Moss for me as well.
Triple agree.
A rare triple agree.
I know. What have we gotten ourselves into here?
Amazing.
We should force ourselves to disagree because that makes for better radio, right?
And then punch each other. And
Just
then say, you stupid idiot with Zach Moss. I'm choosing Zach Moss.
Ruin people's fantasy teams.
Target each other's insecurities.
We got Connor in here.
That game's called Fast Time Quick Guy.
Yeah.
We already played that game.
We got Connor in the chat saying, boys, good morning. What's up, Connor?
Boy. What up?
Schultz or Goddard? Big game here this week, full PPR. Yeah, it's a big game. It's championship week. Joe, you going with big boy Schultz or big boy Goddard?
I'm going to lean Schultz here. I'm leaning Schultz against the Tennessee Titans. I think Schultz will have a good game. And as we mentioned earlier in the show, the Titans defense, they're beat up. And so I think it's going to be an easier matchup than it even looks on paper.
JL, that is correct.
Hey.
Dallas Goedert is playing the #1 defense versus the tight end, and it's actually not particularly close right now. They have Demario Davis, they have the Honey Badger, they have Marcus May, they have Kellas over the middle over there, and I think that this would be a perfect week for Gardner Minshew just to throw it to AJ Brown and throw it to Devonta Smith, not try to force it to Goddard in the toughest possible matchup for his position. So even though I have Goddard within my top 10 tight ends because there's not that many great ones, I would just start Schultz.
100%. I'm going Dalton Schultz here as well, guys. And I'm ready to let you guys know about something I learned. Let me know if you heard about this, but this was a news story I came across a couple weeks ago. I've been saving for the next time we did the Moreau You Know. So it's a little bit different. It's not so much a fun fact, but maybe an event that you missed. There was a man in England who was in the hospital, and after investigating what was wrong with him, the bomb squad, this was in England, the bomb squad was called out to the hospital after they found a World War II artillery shell stuck in his rectum. In his butt was a 57 millimeter piece of weaponry from World War II, an artillery shell. And he said he slipped and fell on the 57 millimeter piece of weaponry. And that's how it went up there. The shell had apparently been lying on the floor while he was cleaning out his collection of military memorabilia. And he slipped and fell and got a 17 centimeter long, that's over 6.5 inches by 6 centimeter wide, over 2.5 inches wide artillery shell stuck in his butt.
That man didn't fall in nothing.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
They see what's in there and they call the bomb squad because they don't know if it's live or not. And he didn't have an answer for them. It was in his collection. And so they were able to remove it. Then the bomb squad had to come out and determine whether this rectum artillery shell was a live piece of weaponry or not. It was not. So they determined the only danger was to the man himself who had these sharp metal objects stuck up his butt. But they were worried.
Sounds like he chose that path. So.
No, JL, he slipped and fell on it. He slipped and fell on it.
And fell.
How do you have to fall in order for something like that to go perfectly up your butt?
Right?
I've dropped some bombs before in the bathroom, but not like that. Not like that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, I know coincidences happen, right? Crazy things happen, but that's such a specific fall. And for it to not only be on the ground, but sitting on the ground, straight up and down, exactly. And then for him to fall backwards and not catch himself, like when he falls, does he just put his hands straight in the air whenever he falls? Like, doesn't try to catch himself or anything? Like,
yeah.
Who falls backwards just like rectum first? Like,
Joey Wright says Rectum Artillery Shell is my favorite K-pop band.
Dibs on the team name next year. Rectum Artillery Shell.
Rectum Artillery Shell is such a good fantasy team name.
Rectum, it damn near blew him up.
Keith says, I just saw a picture. There is no way. And they were genuinely worried about his health. And a police spokesperson was quoted as saying, it was a solid shot round. It was a chunky, pointed lump of lead designed to rip through a tank's armor.
No.
They were just trying to let you know like what was stuck in this man.
Oh,
wild.
My God.
My favorite part about this story, though, is then the NHS, the National Health Service there in the UK, released some statistics.
Don't put stuff up your butt.
Well, they said they've had to remove just between 2010 and 2019 over 3,500 objects from people's rectum, costing around 340,000 pounds a year, more than 3 million pounds in total in cost just to remove things from people's butts in the UK health system.
You said 3,500 over 9 years?
Yeah.
That's more than one thing a day. That's 388 per year.
More than once a day, someone is having to medically get something removed from their butt.
Checks out. It's lower than I thought, especially in the UK.
Squirrel Bob in the chat saying, as an ER nurse, you would be amazed at the things people stick in their bum. Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
This story shocked me, but Squirrel Bob's probably like, yeah, you mean Tuesday? Like
they all fell on it.
That's my Moreau, you know. Don't stick artillery shells up your butt, or the bomb squad will have to come to the hospital and there'll be a news article written about you.
Yeah. In case you didn't know.
And you might die. That's the other important part.
The things people do to get famous these days, you know, on the TikTok.
On the TikTok.
Joey said, had the car in reverse. Coop dropped the rectum joke back into park to get the laughter out. Put it in park for a second.
Oh, dear.
Keith said, my mom used to be a nurse. Said some guy walked in a trench coat, and underneath the trench coat was a vacuum cleaner.
Anything else?
Just the vacuum cleaner. That's it. That's what he was wearing.
Vacuum cleaner in the front and the bomb in the back. That dude knows how to party.
Coop, you got a Moreau you know for us today?
Yes. And for all the upset viewers on YouTube that want to talk about football, mine's a football one. So I'm bringing us back to football, everybody. You're welcome.
Bum artillery shells? There's a pretty big audience for things stuck up bums as well.
The open Sonors, not football.
I think if we keep it half butt stuff, half football, we're gonna cover our entire fan base here. Right?
Okay, so, that's fair.
So this one, I'm gonna talk to you guys about a little something called the poison pill. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
In the NFL. So the poison pill, it's in multiple sports. You can still kind of do it in basketball with contracts where you just like set up the contract where other teams can't afford to grab this player. But in the NFL, the poison pill contract is now illegal. And one of the big driving forces to that was a little feud that went down between the Seattle Seahawks and the Minnesota Vikings regarding poison pill contracts, right? So there's a couple tags in the NFL where if you tag the player with these, other teams can sign them, right? So if you have a restricted free agent, another team can sign the player, and then you can match that offer sheet to bring him back. So basically, he's a free agent where other teams can make offers to him, and then if you match that deal, you get to keep him, right? So, there's another tag called the transition tag that isn't used that often, which people can do that too. Well, back in the late 90s, the Minnesota Vikings wanted an offensive lineman named Steve Hutchinson, who was a great guard, right? So they drew up one of those contracts for him when he was a restricted free agent. And that contract said that he gets $49 million over 7 years, which was a lot of money at the time. But in that contract, they put a little stipulation that said, If he's not the highest paid lineman on the team, then the entirety of that contract becomes fully guaranteed, right? And the Vikings were willing to do that because he would be the highest paid lineman on the Vikings. But the Seahawks had another lineman, Hall of Famer Walter Jones, that was the highest paid lineman in the league. So basically, it made it so the Seahawks could not match the contract. If they did, they had to give him the $49 million fully guaranteed. So it was a way for the Vikings to steal away this lineman, Steve Hutchinson, and he went to the Vikings. They couldn't match the contract because they had Walter Jones. So fast forward to next season, and the petty Seahawks started just putting poison pills in a bunch of their contracts that just would spike the Vikings, and they could just never have these players on their team. For instance, they put one in Nate Burleson's contract that said, they signed him to a big contract, also $49 million, exact the same contract that Steve Hutchinson was signed to. And it said that if he ever played 5 games in a season in the state of Minnesota, the full contract would become fully guaranteed. Basically meaning that they could, at most they would play 2 games in Minnesota if they played them in the playoffs, right? So, they started getting so spiteful and ridiculous that the league finally stepped in and said, all right, dudes, enough is enough. Poison pills are now illegal. So now you can't do that. You can't put specific clauses in the contract that hurt just one team. But, basically the Vikings were able to pry this guy away using this loophole in the contracts. And the Seahawks immediately turned around and were like, oh, yeah, you got poison pills. We're sprinkling poison pills on everything over here now. So, yeah, that is wild. That is the story of the poison pill contract. And it wasn't until 2011 that they finally took him out and said, no more of this.
This feels like a prank war between 2 college kids. Like the first person pulls a prank, know what I mean? Like they put shaving cream on your hand while you're sleeping and then tickle your face and you smash it on your face. And then the next person goes in and burns your dorm room to the ground. And then the RA steps in. Know what I mean? Like the next person was like, oh yeah, watch this, 10X to the prank. And then RA had to step in and say, okay, guys, I think that's enough.
That's wild. So this is a recent thing, Coop?
It was in the late, it was 2000. It started in 90.
You said Nate Burleson.
Yeah. So it was Nate Burleson. So yeah. So it started in 96 was when the Giants used it on the first time, right? The Giants used it for the first time to spite another team. So that's when it was invented. And then in 2005 is when this all went down and everyone just started going crazy. And there were a few other contracts that were in there, for a bunch of the different. It wasn't just the 2 players. They started doing it with everybody. So then in 2005 it went crazy, and then in 2011 they because they do the CBA every 10 years. So the last one was 2021, and then in 2011 they were like, we got to get rid of this stuff because it is too much. So
that's wild. I thought it happened recently, and I was trying to remember what was in my memory, but it was the Elon Musk Twitter takeover. The Twitter board used a poison pill tactic essentially to raise the price, and that was where I was most recently had heard that.
Yeah, it happens they do it in the NBA, and you can't stop it in the NBA, but teams basically look at how other teams have their stuff structured, and they'll go and say, okay, Jeremy Lin, for instance, at one point had a deal where the contract he was offered was $40 million, but 30 million of it would hit just in the 3rd year because they knew the team he was on had all their contracts were loaded up for the 3rd year. So it's just a spiteful way to steal players, which I love that.
Yeah, I love a little bit of spite. The Vikings one is what cracks me up. I love the Seahawks retaliation, but just the person who came up with that was I know how to do it. Put that line in the contract. They probably when it went through, they were freaking got it. Suck it, Seahawks. Yeah. There were high fives all around.
Knowing the NFL, that guy probably got GM of the year. You know what I mean? They love that stuff, dude.
Oh,
whoever suppresses the salaries best gets GM of the year nowadays.
Joey in here said there was a poison pill in my FYF contract. It was literally just a poison pill, though. Simon is trying to kill me. I know all the secrets.
It's true.
I probably shouldn't have read that out loud on air.
But now it's out there.
Here, no.
FBI.
I got it, jail. That's not true. I'm not trying to kill you. There you
go.
That was a Opposite of poison pill, an unpoisoned pill.
That was a
just in
vitamin.
case you ever get a vitamin.
And they'll never find the guy you replaced. You guys remember Bart? Poisoned. Jail's like, nope, don't remember him.
Don't remember Bart at all.
Bart who?
Exactly.
Guys, coming up, we've got a TV channel draft. We're going to be drafting teams of the best of our favorite TV channels. And you guys have to let us know who you think has the best team at the end of this. We're also going to run through some Thursday night football predictions, talk about the game tonight, the Cowboys-Titans game that we had moved to Thursday night for Coop. And then if you've got any fantasy football questions for us or other questions or general fantasy questions, throw them in the chat. We'll be more than happy to answer any and everything that you throw our way. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
What's going on, everybody? Matt Bruning here with Campus to Camp for the Better Sports Network to give you a rundown of the New Year's Eve's Bowl for some better bowl bets. We're going to start with Alabama versus Kansas State. Somehow, Bryce Young, Will Anderson, and Jahmyr Gibbs are playing in this game for Alabama. All should be first-round picks in May. Can Kansas State limit Bama's explosive plays? Bama, 19th in the nation. Kansas State's defense, 57th against explosive plays. Kansas State has lived on their offense this year, 66 in passing, 26 in rushing, but Bama's defense, as you'd expect, very good. They're 29th against the rush, second against the pass. With everyone playing for Alabama, take Alabama and the points, but avoid the over-under here. Iowa versus Kentucky is the next game. Why we're being subjected to this game, I have no idea. This is going to be the worst bowl game of the season. Both starting quarterbacks have opted out. Kentucky will likely lean on the run in this one. That is bad news for them. Iowa is second in defensive rushing explosiveness and the sixth-ranked rush defense. Iowa's offense, though, is bad. 124th in explosive plays, 127th in passing, and 126th in rushing. Just avoid this game if you can altogether, but if you want to play something, play the under 31. Moving into the playoff games, TCU versus Michigan. TCU does have a shot in this one. They've lived on their explosive plays. The bad news, Michigan thrives against that. They're 7th in preventing explosive pass plays and 4th in preventing explosive rush plays. Michigan does run the ball well. They are 8th in the nation at that, and TCU's defense is 91st overall. Play Michigan and the points, but watch for the first half totals when they come out because Michigan does tend to struggle early and TCU scores early, but I expect Michigan to eventually pull away. Ohio State versus Georgia, final playoff game. It is simple for this one. It's going to come down to the lines. Ohio State is 25th in rushing, 1st in passing, while Georgia's defense is 3rd against the rush and 4th against the pass. Georgia's offense, 18th in rushing, 7th in passing. Ohio State, 11th against the run, 13th against the pass, but they are number 1 against tight ends and running back where Georgia's offense comes from. Ohio State does have a top havoc rating defense as well. If they can keep C.J. Stroud clean and pressure Stetson Bennett, that is going to be the key to winning this game. Take Ohio State in the points because I think they keep it close. Take the over on 62. Everybody enjoy the bowl games and have a happy new year.
Yeah! What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Yep.
We got Fantasy Nav in the chat saying, hi, friends. What's up, Fantasy Nav? Welcome in. You're
What
just
up,
in time for our TV channel draft. I'm excited for this one. JL, when did this draft idea strike you? Because that's something I feel like there's strong opinions about.
Last night.
Wow. Tell us the story, the creation story.
Well, I was sitting on my couch trying to think of what should we draft? And then I thought, candy. And I was like, no, not candy. Then I thought books. No, those guys don't read. Then I thought TV channels. Everybody loves a good TV channel. Let's go channels.
And this is perfect because I spent like the last week at my parents' house for the holidays. So I watched cable like crazy. Like, we don't have cable at home. It was cable all day over there. I'm flipping channels, just seeing what's on. I haven't done that in years. That's always the fun part of visiting home.
I miss the channel flipping. That's what I missed most. Just kind of looking around, seeing what's happening. Because when you when you cut the cord, you don't have that. You don't get to pop around. So you were just
waiting for the scroll guide, where you have to wait 30 seconds to a minute for your channel to come back up.
You look away for a second, you're like, no,
I missed it again.
So you were just binging cheese and cable TV?
Yeah, it was cheese and cable television. That was the theme of my Christmas week. Cheese, family, and cable television.
How were you not on the toilet the whole time?
Oh, You don't know that. I was for the vast majority of it. Guys, we're going to get into our TV channel draft. Let us know what your thoughts are in the chat as we're making this draft. Channels you would pick. And guys, we got to determine the order here. I'm going to go into a random number generator. Coop, do you want me to decide your position first, or do you want me to decide my position first or JL's position first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay. Let's see. Generate a random number between 1 and 3. This is for Coop.
Beep, boop, boop, boop.
You got 3, Coop. Coop is going third in this game.
Boo.
So, John Luke, do you want to determine yours next or mine next?
Yours.
Okay, I am going first in this game. A 1, and that means, JL, you are up second here, which sitting in the middle there, I don't know if that's such a bad spot. JL, you're number 2. Coop, you are number 3. I've got the first pick to lead us off. Fantasy Nav in the chat saying HBO 101 or we can't be fit friends. Dustin saying CBS is the 101 for me. Well, I've got a different 101 that I think I'm going to roll with here. It may not be my most watched channel recently, but it is probably my most watched channel of all time when you add together every
I already
morning.
feel myself getting mad.
Every morning, turning on Sports Center, seeing what's going on, all of the college football games over there. When I want to watch Clemson, usually it's on ESPN. There's NFL games on ESPN. There's just sports on ESPN. We love sports. I got to take the sports channel with the number 1 overall pick. ESPN, welcome to the squad.
I'm so glad you went first. I'm so glad you went first because I feel like ESPN, for the target demographic, it's the clear.
It had to be the 101.
It's a clear top choice. I didn't want to pick it though,
right?
Because ESPN feels, it just it's not my favorite channel to watch sports on.
It would be disrespectful to Stuart Scott if it didn't go 1.
It had to go 1, so I'm glad you took it, Simon, which means I'm up. Oh, I have to decide which direction I want to go in this one. You know what? I'm gonna go with the NFL Network. I'm gonna get all that NFL scoop. I'm gonna get all that. I'm gonna get Good Morning Football. I'm gonna get all those good shows on there because we love football.
We do love football, and that's why with my pick, I'm gonna take a channel that this is crazy. It's crazy to take it here to a certain degree because you only watch it once a week. It's pretty much only on once a week. But I'm gonna take a little channel called. And it's got on this channel. It only has 1 show, but it has the 1 show that I believe is the best show of all time, and that show is called NFL Red Zone.
That's a good choice.
So I'm going to take the channel called NFL Red Zone as my pick.
The first round's all football. Yes. All football in the first round.
Yeah. Now we can take premium channels. Like you can't take like
as long as it's a channel. It has to be a TV channel. Now, if you got to pay extra for said channel, that's fine. But yeah, you can't take like Hulu or Netflix.
Right. Well, in that case, then I will take HBO. It has a number of shows that I consider to be the best of all time. Not, the best show of all time is Red Zone. SportsCenter is a great show all time. Seinfeld's a great show all time. But if you're talking about some of the best shows that have ever been created, The Wire, right? The Sopranos, the Game of Thrones. For a number of seasons, and I think even with the ending being kind of meh, it's an amazing show. The Wild Thornberry's not on that channel, but it's that quality of programming that you get from HBO. So
the not so Wild Thornberries.
That's where we're at. Fantasy Nav, me and Fantasy Nav are friends, so there you go. So I'm taking HBO. I had to take Red Zone first out of principle, but HBO right there.
HBO is a good choice. I feel like out of all the premium channels, it's clearly the 101.
Dustin
Star's not the same.
Dustin said I wasted a pick.
Cinemax not the same.
How did I waste a pick, Dustin? Tell me.
On Red Zone is when he said that, saying that you threw it away. But Coop, I think that's a lot of people's favorite channel.
Need it. It's my favorite channel. It's my favorite show. Like, I spend the most time watching that one. Worst thing that has ever happened to football. I disagree. I like putting a couple full games on TVs and having one TV that's just Red Zone. You have to have, I do think you have to have multiple TVs. If you just watch Red Zone, I mean, I would just watch Red Zone, but I prefer to watch multiple TVs. But I got
problem with Red Zone is there's gaps. There's games you'll realize that you just haven't seen or thought about the entire time because they're not in the Red Zone. But
yeah, because the final score is 10-3.
Yeah,
and then you just didn't see that game.
Right.
It came up for 1 second, and maybe you were getting water.
Yeah.
I pull up the NFL GSIS and I scroll through that. In the off season, I just take my iPad while I'm working and I put it up here and I just have games playing. Like all off season, I just watch games. So I end up watching the games anyway. So give me Red Zone. It's awesome.
Red Zone, good choice. HBO, good choice. Scoop, I think you had a solid first round.
And Eric says that the Wild Thornberry movie is on HBO Max. So just saying.
There you go.
Got the Wild Thornberries as well, dude. Got them all.
Oh, all right. I'm on the clock now. I would usually wait on this pick, but I don't think it's going to make it back to me.
Don't.
So I'm going to go with cartoon.
Okay, I did want that one, but it's not the one I was going to pick next.
Great choice.
Oh, you just scared me to death. But that is a great pick, JL. I'm mad, but also relieved at the same time. Like I probably would have grabbed it on the turn, but it wasn't my top priority there. But so many great shows on Cartoon Network. Like we can even talk like more modern, like a little bit past the time, like the regular show, incredible. If you go in and watch that, Gumball, a top tier show. But then you go further back, Courage the Cowardly Dog, like the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Adventure Time, like
Adventure Time.
Man, they just hit like a certain chord with those shows that doesn't get hit anymore. Where there was like a darkness to these children's cartoons that Cartoon Network was putting out that just made them so much fun to watch.
Clarification question: do I get Adult Swim because it's on Cartoon Network channel?
Yeah, I think you get like it. The adult, you get Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
You get the station. Oh man, including Adult Swim is crazy, dude. Have you guys ever watched The Venture Bros?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not in its entirety, but I've watched a couple episodes of it.
You got to watch that one, dude. That's a good one. Somebody convinced me to watch it and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
It's on Hulu, I think, right? Yeah. You can go watch it on Hulu, I'm pretty sure. NKC in here. What's up? Welcome back. Glad to have you here. We are doing a TV channel draft for those of you that are just joining us. JL just drafted Cartoon Network and Adult Swim to join the NFL Network on his team. Coop with his first two picks took NFL Red Zone and HBO, and I took ESPN with the first overall pick. And Dustin in the chat saying, drop in the Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Love it. That is maybe my favorite Cartoon Network show of all time. I love that stuff.
I've never seen that one, and now I guess I got to watch it.
You should check it out. It's starring Space Ghost, obviously. And they play like a sitcom almost with different characters. There's also like a variety show aspect to it. It's where a lot of like the Brack songs came from, which were a critical part of my childhood was Brack. So Space Ghost Coast to Coast, top tier Adult Swim program.
Is Rick and Morty's on Adult Swim, or is that on a different channel?
I think it's on Adult Swim, or at least it was.
Okay.
I don't know if it still is. But I'm pretty sure it's a Cartoon Network
Quit bragging about your channel.
I'm trying to remember because I don't really watch a ton of traditional cable either, Simon. I'm an on-demand guy.
Rick and Morty's good show.
Too. So guys, my next pick, the first pick was the one I had to take. This one is with the heart.
This is what I want to take.
Now you're gonna get your guys here.
Now I'm gonna get my guy. I took the ESPN. You got to take
Darnell
ESPN
Mooney
first overall. For this next pick, something near and dear to me, something that for every single day for over 2 years, we got on live stream and played game shows. I'm taking the Game Show Network. I love game shows so much. They bring me so much joy on a daily basis. Just to sit there and watch. I truly watch some kind of game show every single day. Like literally every day, whether it's an episode of Jeopardy off of Hulu or Live Jeopardy, or it's on Dropout, or Whose Line Is It Anyway? I think is even in that category. Some lingo, some Family Feud. Like it's always game shows that I have on. And so I'm going to put Game Show Network as my first pick here.
Coop can probably, I guess this doesn't include the streaming service, but all the old Whose Line Is It Anyways are on HBO Max. Marie and I have been going back and watching them. So good.
There's a bunch on Hulu as well of the old Whose Lines.
And the new one with Aisha Tyler.
And if you want to watch a similar show, Make Some Noise on Dropout TV is basically like a modern Whose Line. Whose Line Is It Anyways? And it's phenomenal. Similar vein of that show where the points don't matter and they're just doing silly improv things.
I really thought you were going to go with the Travel Channel, Simon.
Well, I still have another pick.
This is the Travel Channel?
I'm going back to back. I'm tempted because the Travel Channel did host a lot of Anthony Bourdain's TV shows. And I am a huge Anthony Bourdain
Wait, no,
fan.
he's Food Network.
And that's where I was going, JL, is if there's another network that I watched a ton of growing up, Barefoot Contessa, Cooking with Rachel Ray, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. All of these old Food Network shows were a critical part. The next Food Network star, I watched every single episode of. And for that reason, I'm drafting the Food Network with my next pick. So we're starting ESPN, Game Show Network, and the Food Network as my first 3 picks in the draft today. Come on, like I used to just watch the Food Network non-stop growing up. Just throw that channel on, watch Barefoot Contessa cook some Italian food, or watch Guy Fieri run around in different cities eating ridiculous things. It's phenomenal. It makes your mouth water. It makes you happy. You got Chopped on there too, another game show, but a food game show.
Love me some Chopped.
It's hard to beat Chopped.
There's nothing better than when you're kind of like a little drunk and you got to like make yourself a late dinner and you do your own Chopped, but it's basically just like putting cheese on things that just like taking something and just putting cheese on it in the microwave, and you're like, I could be on Chopped.
I could totally be on Chopped.
I could totally be.
See, I don't really watch the Food Network channel, Simon, so I'm totally happy with you taking that pick, because honestly, it's exhausting. I'm just sitting there getting hungry the whole time.
Yeah,
it's a recipe for disaster.
And if you just ate and you're full, then it's not even.
Yeah, then you want to throw up the whole time.
You're just like, what is this?
Yeah.
I've told my girlfriend multiple times.
I got your recipe joke finally.
I've told my girlfriend multiple times that for my 30th birthday, all I want is to play Chopped, but like full scale.
30th.
I like it's because it's going to be a big production. Like it needs to be on like a full set with like professional kitchens with all the equipment. I want judges there. Like I want it to look legit, and I want me and 3 friends to compete in a full episode of Chopped with everyone else there, trying the food, partying, and hanging out as a live audience. That's going to be my 30th birthday, is an episode of Chopped.
Nice. And Chad, let us know what channels you be drafting. Throw them in the chat. We want to see them. I got the next pick here. I could go with the country music T, whatever the T stands for.
TV. Television.
I could go for...
Take that. Hey, no spoilers. No spoilers. What if I wanted to take that?
I could go for Oxygen, the Oxygen channel, which is probably where Coop's going to go. But instead, I'm going to go with another fan favorite here. I'm going to go Comedy Central.
Oh, you I'm
going to get that Daily Show. I'm going to get the... You guys love the Chappelle Show. You brought up before on the show.
You don't watch Chappelle? You never watched the Chappelle Show?
I watched it. I just wasn't... It was a little bit before my time.
Perhaps. 2 of the greatest skit shows of all time. Like
Key and Peele.
A lot of the greatest skit shows. Key and Peele, Chappelle Show, Kids in the Hall, way back in the day, was a great skit show as well. That's
the Tonight Show, the Colbert Report.
Yep.
If you want the Tonight Show, what's it called? The Daily Show.
The Daily Show I brought up.
Yeah.
Although
Detroiters.
No Trevor Noah on there now.
If you want to be get horrible secondhand embarrassment, you can watch Nathan For You.
Nathan For You, yes.
Any
Nathan Fielder stuff.
Just painful, cringy.
We're also probably gonna get like Grandma's Boy, the Grandma's Boy reruns, all those terrible comedy movies.
So I will tell you what I discovered while flipping through cable over this holiday break is that I think Comedy Central is now just The Office or South Park, like 99% of the time. They like play The Office nonstop all day, and then randomly some days they're like, how about a little bit of South Park for you?
Yeah, I don't like South Park, so that's a bummer for this, because I know that they play a lot of South Park on Comedy Central.
They do, but they also play a ton of The Office now. I guess they got the rights to that, and it's like nonstop The Office.
That's a show that you could just leave on in the background for all eternity.
Forever, yeah.
Okay.
All right, Coop, we're back to you. You got what do you have so far? You have NFL Red Zone and HBO.
I was so dialed in. On Comedy Central that I'm pretty disappointed with that outcome. I'm going to take a crowd pleaser with my first one, and also one that, it gets a lot of flack for the trash that's on this channel now a lot of times, but they're still behind producing a lot of amazing segments and series. So I'm going to go with National Geographic with mine. I know a lot of it ends up on like the streaming services now, and on the actual channel itself is like, like American truckers with chainsaws, building
The deadliest
sheds,
catch. Wait, that's ever.
building sheds in the woods. But it's still, it still has a place in my heart with just amazing programming and things they produce throughout the year. So give me National Geographic as one.
A nice Nat Geo documentary is one of the nicest things to put on the television.
Yeah,
like a Nat Geo documentary about a mountain or something.
Time. It's nap time.
Very soothing. Very soothing. And then the last one I'm going to take, it might not be everyone's favorite, but
HGTV.
This is no, I can't.
Giving away all my picks.
I can't go there. That is a Simon pick. I should take that.
I don't think you have to worry about that, Simon.
I should take that for my wife, but this one has a special place in my heart because I really enjoy the moment where there's like a big storm and everyone's going wild and it's getting and like
you
they
are
have
not.
They have
you
the
are not.
Local on the 8th.
I'm taking the Weather Channel, baby.
No, you're not taking the Weather.
Give me the
Channel.
Weather Channel. I love when everyone gets all worked up and they're like, it's the storm of the century, bomb cyclone, snowmageddon, and they got the guy out there and he's like, whoa, I think I just saw some thunder snow. Like that's totally me. Like I'm out there, I'm like thunder snow, hell yeah, let's go, boy. Show me that. I want to be the guy with boots on the ground, getting like smacked off a stop sign just because the wind and the hail is so crazy. I want to be that dude. So give me the Weather Channel too. I think I'm getting. I kind of wanted to go in those. I almost took Fox Sports because I think that they do a great job. You get all the racing, you get tons of football, you get every sport basically at Fox Sports, and I think they do an amazing job, especially with the racing stuff. But I'm gonna take my the one I want, the one the childhood me would enjoy, the one that would tell you school was canceled.
That was a solid one.
Coop just sitting on the couch going, Mom, can we put the Weather Channel on? I'm sick of watching Disney.
It's almost time for Local on the 8s again.
My mom's like, hell yeah, we can put it on.
Coop, how much of the Weather Channel do you watch nowadays?
Whenever there's a big storm, all of it.
Load that up.
I get bundled. I toss a
Keeps
Snuggie
that on.
I toss a Snuggie on. Yeah.
All right. So you went Nat Geo and then Weather Channel, and I'm up.
Don't do it.
And now I have a choice. I'm not taking HGTV. Don't worry.
Don't worry. I'm not either.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Oh man, there's a couple I want to go here.
There's two I want, and I feel like for sure you're going to take one of them. Like I've got my turn planned out, and I feel like one of them's going to you.
My turn was supposed to be Comedy Central and Nat Geo.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know what to do here. All right, I'm gonna go with.
I'm not sure how many channels I even know anymore.
I'm gonna go with Nickelodeon.
Okay,
that's a good pick.
It's a great pick. And you got like the sick kids cartoon channels cornered now. You got that whole market cornered. We can't compete. Like, what are we gonna do? Take Disney Channel? No,
like, it's not that. I thought about Disney, and I'm like, I wouldn't watch anything on Disney nowadays. Like back in the day, sure.
TV Guide channel. I feel like Jay picking the TV Guide channel. That would be like Scott Fish's favorite channel, right? Didn't he make his own TV guide?
He did for fantasy
for fantasy shows
content. Yeah,
yeah.
Greg said we need FYF Snuggies. Yeah, we do.
We do.
Man, Jail Nickelodeon. Your team. I feel like what I say this. Your team looks like the strongest team so far, but every time I think that. And then Coop's team comes out of freaking nowhere and wins the poll. I'll be like, man, Coop drafted the most garbage team I've ever seen in my life.
Because he's the
and
most
it goes on
popular
Twitter.
Which one of my teams was garbage? I would like
all of them.
Let's put it on YouTube. We'll put a poll out and we'll see.
Here's the thing, dude. I think your opinions are just bad. That's really what's happening. Is that you're looking at your teams and like you're like, this is good, and you look at mine, it's bad, and then the world proves you wrong.
The world.
The fallacy of the masses.
The world, the 23 votes on Twitter.
Proud of those votes. Proud of every one of those votes.
Seems like a win's a win. We don't care about sampling size here. We care about
Sends it to all his group chats. Only 20 of his friends vote on it.
Bury them, dude. When I did one time send it to a group chat I'm in, and they all came in and trashed my team, and and voted for you guys. Like
Good friends.
Linda came in and was like, Coop's team's trash. Like, Never again. I'm not sharing a draft. I'm not even retweeting this. Let's see how that works out.
Guys, with my next pick, I was afraid Keith gave it away in the chat, but honestly, it's a shock that this one is all the way available in the 4th round. I'm taking CBS. Not only do they have football on Sundays all day, but they are the king of the reality competition show. Amazing Race, Survivor, and of course, my favorite, Big Brother. On top of that, they've got the best garbage reality television show that is going on right now in Love Island. It is hard to beat Love Island when you want like garbage reality television. It's just a phenomenal channel all around. And then on top of that, you get your morning Prices Right on CBS as well. So I get some game shows in there as well, some Drew Carey-led game shows. Price is Right,
Drew
football.
The worst.
Tell me how you really feel, JL.
Yeah, dude, good pick. Man.
Sorry.
You get all the great shows like the Young Sheldon and like James Corden. So a good pick, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you get all the cool shows like The Weather on your show. At least I named like 10 other shows that were good. Yours is
Weather's dope, dude. First, sometimes
it's just cloudy. For like a month.
Most of the time, it's not a big storm.
Sometimes they come along and tell you, hey, you know what?
Big Brother comes on a lot more than a storm on the Weather Channel comes on.
It's just big. Hey, sometimes my channel comes along and says, hey, it's going to be a nice day outside. Why don't you go outside and do something with yourself? And then your channel comes along and it's like.
And then I look out the window and I'm like,
it's
wow,
like trash
it's gonna be a nice day.
The 3 bad shows on my network, whereas he's picked 2 networks that only have one show, Red Zone and the Weather Channel. Like, it's just like weather and Red Zone.
A man who knows what he needs, you know. I need
One
weather. I need
one
weather
that's full of commercials and one that has no commercials.
I need to know what the weather is for 6 days a week, and then on the 7th day, Sunday, I know I'm going to be inside watching 7 hours of commercial-free football.
You know what we should do is we should have our breaks on this show just be like weather updates.
I'll do them.
Yeah. So, all right.
Well,
I just in front of a green screen. We decide what's on there. And Goose trying to figure it out.
We'll just give the weather for the 3 places we are. Here's the weather for Boston, Baltimore, and San Antonio. And for anyone else out there, you're gonna have to check the weather where you live.
In San Antonio, spoiler alert, it's warmer than it should be. Every time. It's just warmer.
Every single time.
Guys, with my next pick, this is another one. I don't know how popular it's going to be, but I feel like they consistently just put out great shows over and over and over again. Shows like, if we want to go back a little bit, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, American Horror Story,
Damn it,
Dave. We've got Archer on that channel as well. Legion, which I really enjoyed the first couple seasons of. Sons of Anarchy, which I know people love. I'm taking FX, who has been putting out banger after banger over the last like 5-6 years. It's just been nonstop bangers from FX. Like if I see FX on a show, I am a lot more tempted to watch it just because of the hit rate that I've had with their shows over the past couple years. It's just been top tier. And you guys know my TV watching habits. I'm generally not like a serious show kind of guy, but they do such a good job with some of these shows that I'm in there watching them. And they got some funny shows too, some comedy mixed in. FX, welcome to the team.
That's annoying.
Were you going to take FX?
Yeah.
I thought for sure you were going to take CBS or FX.
I don't like CBS. I don't like their football coverage. Feels like very old whenever I watch it. So I tend to not enjoy it too much, except for Tony Romo. That's the one exception. They all wear the Blazers with like the patch, CBS patch on it. It gets me, man.
Corny.
But FX is a good one. They do have a lot of good shows, Simon. And until you started listing them, honestly, I forgot about a lot of those.
Atlanta, that's another one that's on FX.
I forgot Atlanta's on FX. I'm actually really mad about this. I wish I didn't take Nickelodeon. That's all right. All right. So my next
Wilfred. I forgot about Wilfred. You guys remember Wilfred?
Good.
That one was so funny.
That was very good. Devs is a good one on FX. The Americans. I know a lot of people like that one.
Yeah, Wilfred was such a like brief show, but like me and my sister for some reason always quote just you get one stupid quote stuck in your head from one quote we always just say is we just say, well, whenever we're done doing something, we go, well, Frisbee's is done. And that's from Wilfred. The dog just like takes the Frisbee and chucks it like on the roof or whatever. He's like, well, Frisbees is done. So me and my sister, whenever we're playing a game, we'll be doing something, and when we're done, it's just like, oh, Frisbees is done.
Joe, before we move on to your last pick here, your average Joe's in here said Carson Wentz or Colt McCoy in my Superflex league. And if those guys are unsatisfactory, my best option is DPJ. So you guys going with Carson Wentz or Colt McCoy? Or are you pivoting away from the quarterback and going DPJ?
I don't think I'm pivoting away from the quarterbacks. They just score too much points. They score too many points. I think I would go, let's see, Colt McCoy is going up against Atlanta. Carson Wentz going up against Cleveland. I think I'm going to go Colt McCoy here.
Yikes. What about you, Coop?
Yeah, I think I got to go with Carson Wentz on this one. Simply because, I mean, Colt McCoy, he's just not throwing any touchdowns. I think that's the big part of, I mean, I know very close to having one against New England where DeAndre Hopkins made a crazy one-handed catch and was like 4 inches from being in bounds. But I don't know, man. I think Carson Wentz still has enough ability that I think he can get it done. So I'm going to go Carson Wentz. You got to break the tie on this one, Simon.
I'm going to roll Carson Wentz. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
I was going to try and convince you here, Simon.
Okay, I'll let you try to convince me. I retract my. Woo!
Colt McCoy, while he hasn't done a ton, his matchups have been pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Going back to week 10, he had the Rams. These are just the games that he played. The Rams. Week 11, he played against the 49ers. Week 14, New England Patriots. And then 15, Denver.
Tough.
Now he's got Atlanta. So I think there's going to be a case to be made that he's going to the touchdown thing will change this week. The matchup thing is the difference here. And I think that team's good enough for that.
Man, he's also he's expected to play this week, right? That's the other thing. He was probable with a concussion, but I haven't seen official news that we're going to see Colt McCoy back out on the field, but it's expected from everything I'm seeing.
Jay was a full participant in Wednesday's practice.
Sweet. You make a strong argument, and I do feel like we're picking between some rough choices here to start in. Like both of these guys are even outside of like the top 24 quarterbacks for me. I think I'm going to roll Carson Wentz. I feel like I've seen Carson Wentz find that fantasy success, and the matchup isn't one that's scaring me off. So I'll roll him out there. Man, but it's gross. Your average Joe, tough call that you got to make this week in week 17 for that super flex spot. John Luke.
Absolutely brutal.
It's time for your last pick. FX is off the table. Who are you taking here?
Before we do that, Daniel in the chat said, who's in the ship this year, boys? Who you guys think?
Is he talking about fantasy football?
Probably Super Bowl.
For the Super Bowl, I have a dark horse. I have a dark horse team that I think is going to go. You guys might be surprised.
Tell us.
I
think that. So I'm picking the favorite in the AFC. I think it's going to be the Chiefs, though. Bills could be up there. I think the
Bills
dark
are
horse,
currently the favorite at plus 350.
Dark horse NFC team for me is the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are a well-rounded team. They got Tyron Smith back at the right time. They got a good defense. The Eagles may or may not have Jalen Hurts. The Vikings are kind of frauds, and the Cowboys already beat them up pretty good. I think the Cowboys have just as good a shot at as making it as anybody, in my opinion. So I'm going Cowboys versus Chiefs. That's what I want to see too. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
And every TV network executive just freaks out with a Cowboys Chiefs matchup.
That's what they want to see. The only better matchup they could see is like Cowboys Yankees, right?
Pure excitement. They couldn't be more excited.
Lakers Yankees. That's what they want to see in the Super Bowl.
Lakers Yankees in the Super Bowl. Yeah. LeBron James at quarterback.
That'd be
Raiders plus 100,000 odds on FanDuel Sportsbook to win the Super Bowl.
$100 to win $1 million. Where's the
John
$10 to win $1 million?
Who do you think's going to the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna go with Chiefs and I'm gonna go Eagles. I think Eagles in the NFC. I think they are the most well-rounded team, and I think Jalen Hurts will be back for a playoff run here.
I feel like I might be a little bit crazy here, but I do think like what I'm seeing from this Jaguars team at the end of the season, there could be a playoff run for these Jaguars. they are peaking at the right time. It's just reminding me so much of that Bengals run a couple years ago where they got hot at the end of the year. A quarterback started clicking, offense started looking good, defense is stepping up. Like it's all about getting hot at the right time. They did lose. So that didn't help. They didn't. That's hurting
like
my
the
narrative.
Bengals a couple years ago when they didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
Wait, no, I'm talking about the year they did make it to the Super Bowl.
But they lost in the Super Bowl.
They lost in the Super Bowl, and I wasn't saying they were going to win it. I agree with you, JL, on the NFC side. I think the Eagles make it. I don't mind the Cowboys pick, but I just like the way this Eagles team is set up.
There you have it, dude. Simon today said that the Jaguars win the Super Bowl, and he guarantees that Cam Akers has back-to-back 3 touchdown weeks.
That's what I'm saying.
What a day for Simon.
It's
some wishful thinking.
Coming in with the cat bait. The Jaguars need a good running back, though.
Just dangling it in front of us, trying to bait us.
Not going to fall for it.
Not falling for it this time, Greg.
I think it's some wishful thinking, but I'm going to say Jaguars, Eagles as the Super Bowl. It's
I like that.
Odds on Chiefs are probably going to make it or Bills are probably going to make it.
Teams.
But I think this Jaguars team is primed to make a little bit of a run here in the postseason.
That would be a lot of fun.
It'd be so much fun to watch.
What are the odds on that? What are the odds on them just going, not winning? That's what
let's see, to win the Super Bowl, it's plus 4,800. Let's see what it is to make the Super Bowl. So that would mean they were conference champions. It's at plus 3,100 to win the AFC championship.
If the Vikings just go to the Super Bowl, they don't even have to win. I win $2,000. I put $100.
Nice.
I put $100 on them at the before in like August. I put $100 on them to win the NFC. So if they make it to that NFC championship game, I'll probably hedge, probably bet on whoever they're playing against because I don't trust those boys.
There's not even odds available for them to win the NFC on the FanDuel Sportsbook. The Vikings are not listed as one of the teams that you can select to win the NFC. They took it down. They took it down. John Luke, what's your next pick? You got one more pick in this draft.
So far, I have NFL Network. I have Cartoon Network / Adult Swim. I got Comedy Central and Nickelodeon. I'm going to balance this out with a nice little palate cleanser. That's something everybody loves. I'm going NBC.
Oh, dude, you once again sniped me. That's a good pick. So much better than CBS. So much better than Simon's pick.
Yeah, NBC I think is the better of the group. If I was to rank those major networks, I'd put NBC, Fox, CBS. That's the order I put them in. And so I'm happy to get NBC here. We also have game shows on this network. We also just got good shows, good drama shows. Wasn't 30 Rock NBC?
Dude, the NBC was 30 Rock, The Office, Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Friends.
Ooh, I forgot about a bunch of those.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
French Prince of Bel-Air.
French Press of Billy's.
The French Press of Breakfast. Community.
Community was NBC.
A lot of good shows
before it switched.
I mean,
The Voice.
Seinfeld.
I freaking love The Voice.
I'll trade you The Voice, Simon. We'll do some tradesies for Dave.
Frasier, Saturday Night Live. Look out now.
SNL.
Yeah, it's a good pick. JL, I considered it, but I had to take the reality shows. I had to take the Big Brother, Amazing Race, Survivor. But
you get Scrubs.
As you're listening these shows out, I'm just like, man, there's a lot of good shows.
A lot of good ones on there, right?
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, there's a bunch, and there's a bunch of game shows on there as well. And we got the Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon on there.
Wow, the West
Weakest Link.
The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah. Friday Night Lights. Why did I take the Weather Channel? What the heck?
What am I even watching?
Look at this, dude. Remington
Ninja
Steel.
Warrior.
There's some really bad shows on this channel.
I ain't watching no Ninja Warrior.
There's some real bad shows on this channel.
Oh yeah, really terrible ones.
With any of the,
just ignoring those.
I was going to say, with any of the big networks, you're going to get some awful shows mixed in there as well.
Bad.
Yeah, you got more good ones than most of these big network channels. Holy cow. Just loaded.
So Coop, you're on the clock with your last pick here.
Yeah, and people, the people in the chat, they want me to get flashy. They want me to go Showtime or do one of these fancy ones. But now I'm going to take I'm going to take the Weather Channel 2.
ESPN 2?
ESPN 8, the Ocho.
ESPN 2 would be such a funny pick in this
That would be a really funny pick.
Weather Channel, I'm taking Weather Channel 8, the Ocho. The Ocho except weather. Now I'm gonna stick with I'm gonna be boring here, and I'm gonna take Fox because I want they do have some power.
They got some good shows
on there. Man, like say what you want about New Girl, great
Lego Masters,
fantastic show,
dude. One of my favorite shows. I mean, they have not only have The Simpsons, which all time is one of my favorites. But dude, I love Futurama. Futurama.
Oh my
was
God.
such a good show, dude.
Hey,
Malcolm.
we
in
get
the-
a lot of Futurama on our channel, Comedy Central, right?
Yeah, you get a little bit. Give me Malcolm in the Middle. Give me Arrested Development. Give me
911, Bob's Burgers.
Oh, Bob's Burgers and Futurama are like two of my top 3 favorite animated shows of all time.
King of the Hill, Bob's Burgers. Yeah, I got some pretty good, strong animation.
Eat the Shazam with Jamie Foxx or Mental Samurai with Rob Lowe. You got some game shows.
Truly, Lego Masters. If you guys haven't watched it, you should check it out. It's like Top Chef, but they build Legos. It's a reality TV Lego competition, and it is so much fun. Hosted by Will Arnett.
That's tight.
Will
Arnett, dude. Will Arnett's the man. Yeah, and I'll take Melrose Place for my mom.
Kitchen Nightmares. It's a good choice.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
But then I think it gets taken down about 10 levels for The Masked Singer. That is maybe the worst show sorry if you enjoy it. I understand people enjoying that show. I get the appeal of it. But when I watch a whole season and then the mask comes off and it's Rudy Giuliani, pardon me if I'm a little bit disappointed, or Antonio Brown under the mask, like they just get the most odd collection. And like, it's just a hippo lip singing on stage. And then all of a sudden you're like, who's that hippo?
How are you supposed to know what Rudy Giuliani singing sounds like? That's the crazy part.
Right?
You know?
Distorted singing. They even like distort the voice as well.
Yeah. Kind of ridiculous. But my buddy Pulowski and my Auntie Koopy like the Masked Singer. So I too like the Masked Singer. So how dare you be rude about the Masked Singer?
Every time I put it on, I've watched the whole episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I've turned on like, this is so stupid. Who is it? Like I don't know who. Like
I
immediately invested. It's a one show like I Google spoilers so I don't have to watch the rest of the episode, and then I watch the rest of the episode.
Dude, my wife now watches the show that is like one of the trashiest shows, and it's exactly like that. I watch out of the corner of my eye and get so invested. It's called The Circle. Have you heard of that show?
I love The Circle.
I'm just like, it's like some old dude pretending to be like a hot babe, like texting, and I'm just like, nice, get him.
It's Twitter Big Brother is all it is. It's Big Brother, but you're just doing it all on Twitter.
And they're
guys, let's
so
recap.
sassy.
Let's recap these teams. Coop, with your draft, your 5 teams, you've got NFL Red Zone, HBO, National Geographic, The Weather Channel, and Fox. John Luke, you've got NFL Network, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim included, Comedy Central, Nickelodeon, and NBC. And then on my team, I've got ESPN, The Game Show Network, Food Network, CBS, and FX as my team right here. I'm curious how this poll goes out. We'll throw this on Twitter, guys. Head on over to the Front Yard Fantasy Twitter. It's on Twitter at Front Yard FYF. We will put this up today, and we want to know who you guys think drafted the best team of TV channels.
I want to ask you guys, every single time we post these, everyone's favorite thing to do is complain about the one that we forgot. So which one do you think will be the most complained about network?
MTV.
That we omitted. MTV potentially, yeah.
I considered MTV, but it was like old school MTV that I wanted, right?
Yeah, I don't even know what they're playing nowadays.
I feel like people
is Ridiculousness on there.
It is, and Wild Now is still on there as well.
Oh man,
AMC has some good shows on it.
AMC's all right. AMC's all right.
They're without Breaking Bad and the spinoff Better Call Saul. It doesn't have much, but like those are powerhouses really.
USA is kind of like not as popular, but had some bangers in there. Some White Collar.
Couldn't name
Leverage.
One TV show.
Leverage was TNT. Sorry.
Well, and we did skip one of the big networks. ABC was not selected.
What do they do?
They used to have some bangers of like TV shows, like The Secret Life of the American Teenager, like some of those like high school dramas that I used to watch with my sister when I was in high school.
I thought that was what was it called? Channel 57 when we were growing up. It was ABC Family. Oh yeah, ABC Family. Okay.
I can name 5. Oh, now that I'm looking at this list, like every one of these channels has shows that are ripped.
Let me ask you guys this. Was this how it was at your guys's where you grew up, where you lived? Was it 56 was Disney, 57 was ABC Family, 58 was Cartoon Network, and 59 was Nickelodeon?
Nope, they were in the 40s.
It was very similar, but they were all back to back, just like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, Nickelodeon was 24 was Disney and 25 was Nickelodeon. Then the rest were up near 50. Either way, but ABC got some shows that are popular here. They have a little show called Grey's Anatomy.
Oh God,
Shonda Rhimes.
The first couple, like That show was good. The last couple seasons that I've like caught a couple episodes of just went downhill, man. It feels like the writers just gave up and they're just doing like Grey's Anatomy fan fiction at this point in the last couple seasons. Every episode I've seen, I'm just like, God, what is going on here? Like, no one would ever say those words out loud.
The thing that gets me about those types of shows, that and like Maria and I will watch 911 a bunch because it's just like, I don't know. We like to watch shows that we will just actively trash while we're watching it. But I feel like Grey's Anatomy is just like, how could all of these things happen to you? Like, how could you have a near-death experience every episode and not be dead?
You have some serious brain damage. You know, you're just getting knocked out.
Always something happens. Someone's always being kidnapped.
Yeah.
There's always like a terrorist threat on the hospital. Like truly, it is like every single tragedy that could befall a person befalls this hospital.
Like, oh, you were in 3 active shooter situations and a plane crash and a helicopter crash and when this building fell and this other natural disaster. It's like,
well,
no, come on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, dude, then take it over to 24, where all that happens within 1 day. You know, it's like 24.
Figure out how to stretch time. They can do like a million things in an hour.
He gets knocked unconscious for a combined like hour
3
and 15
seconds.
minutes. Yeah. You want to hear something crazy that I just realized like a week ago? You know the TV show ER?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know who created that?
Eddie Murphy.
No, I
It was
don't know.
Eddie Murphy. No, it wasn't
Did
Eddie
you?
Murphy. Are you kidding? It was Michael Crichton. And that name,
The author of Jurassic Park.
The author of Jurassic Park, and not just Jurassic Park. He wrote Jurassic Park. So then I for some reason that came up that he made that based on his time being a doctor. So I went to his
Moreau
Wikipedia.
You Know.
He wrote Jurassic Park. He wrote like a ton of movies like Congo, all these other ones.
Congo is good.
That was a great book.
It scared me when I was a kid.
He also was the one that wrote and directed the original Westworld that was remade into the new Westworld. Like that guy,
Christopher Nolan's brother.
That
and
guy was
someone
a genius,
else.
bro. That guy was a genius.
Shout out Michael Crichton. Shout out Craig, big Jurassic Park fan.
Big
Didn't even
Jurassic
know.
Park fan.
Didn't even know that.
He knew. Craig, I guarantee you, Craig knew.
Craig was aware. Fantasy Nav in here saying kids channels were the high 20s for us. So it looks like it's similar to you, Coop, wherever Fantasy Nav was. Coming up, guys, we are going to do some Thursday night football predictions, talk about this Cowboys-Titans game. And if you have any fantasy questions for us or other assorted questions, throw them in the chat. We would love to answer them for you. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
My holiday wish list is for Travis Etienne to finish as the RB1 rest of season.
That injury's got to be nothing, and Josh Jacobs needs to be a top 3 running back down the stretch.
I need the Broncos to finish with a better record than the Raiders. Otherwise, I need to eat a tomato live on camera like it's an apple.
I want to win my home league. I've only won it once over the last whatever it is 6 or 7 years, and these are all of my buddies from high school and college, and they love to harass me when they beat me. Ooh, fantasy expert, you can't win our league.
For this holiday season, I'd like to be in the winning margin. I'd like to be on the winning side of side totals and props. I think that's really why we're in the business.
So Jamar Chase is coming back from the hip issue. Let's hope he performs like that wide receiver 1 and leads me to the championship. I need you, Jamar. Come on, let's go.
I am the sucker that still owns Russell Wilson in a 2 QB league. Here's all I ask. And it's like a lot of Christmas wishes. It's kind of a long shot. You don't expect it. It wouldn't be something you wake up and say it's going to happen. But Russell Wilson, I only need like 80% of your career norm.
I need the Falcons to run the table so I can win my Arthur Smith as Coach of the Year bet, which is not looking amazing right now, but you never know.
Dallas Cowboy World Championship future cashes in 2023.
ETN is a guy that I really need to thrive here in the fantasy playoffs to win a couple of championships.
Need Zonovan Knight, even if Michael Carter's there, to be the beast running back that he can be for the remainder of the year for me to have any shot at winning a title this year.
I need Najee Harris to get healthy. I'm over-invested in Najee Harris.
As excited I am about my fantasy team, I'm even more excited about the Dallas Cowboys right now.
I need Rachaad White to keep doing what he's doing and keep Leonard Fournette on the bench.
I hope it's Mahomes and Kelsey getting all the targets there. That's my wish.
please allow me to win at least one of those big money leagues.
Well, my holiday wish is for Lamar Jackson to get healthy. I'm in first place in one of my fantasy leagues, and he's my quarterback, so without him, I could be in trouble.
I have a lot invested in the Philadelphia Eagles. I just need them not to rest my fantasy players week 17.
Yeah, my number one wish for fantasy football this year is that Ramondre Stevenson keeps being a dog out there.
Big money league I have that I absolutely want to win, so I need my guy CeeDee Lamb, and I'm a Niner fan.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Thanks for joining us this Thursday morning. Damn it, I almost said Friday.
It feels Thursday. Like a Friday.
It does feel like a Friday. But guys, if you're just joining us this morning, if this is your first time, we are here every single morning, 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time. And we're going to be here during the off season too. So come hang out with us Monday through Friday, every single morning here on Better Sports Network. And you can find it on our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy as well. So head on over there, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you don't miss out on any of the stuff that we're doing here and on our other shows. Guys, we got a football game tonight. It's week 17, which is insane. We're like 1 week away from the end of the season. Week 17, one more week next week. We will know the playoff picture. It's going to change how we're talking about football. It's going to be a one and done format after this, but we got some games to be played first. And the game tonight has playoff implications for one team and no playoff implications for the other. The Dallas Cowboys going to Tennessee, going to Nashville to play the Tennessee Titans. Over under set at 39.5. And the spread, the Cowboys are 12.5 point favorites in this one. So we're going to start it out simple. John Luke, no spread, no total. Who's going to win this game?
Who is going to win this game? It's going to be the Cowboys. Cowboys are going to, they're going to win.
Them boys.
Yeah, I don't know how much more needs to be said there. The even a fully healthy Tennessee Titans team with Ryan Tannehill, with Derrick Henry, it would be a question, right? I would probably still be picking the Cowboys, though, because I think they're the better team. No Ryan Tannehill, probably no Derrick Henry, a fully beat-up defense. It's the Cowboys.
The
Cowboys
NFL,
are going to win this game.
You also have to remember, though, the NFL, and especially Thursday Night Football, are so ridiculous that every year there's a game where a team with absolutely zero business winning the game wins. So just don't be surprised when the Titans come out and win this stupid game, when it doesn't matter to them and it means everything to the Cowboys. Like that would be so NFL. That'd be so Thursday Night Football, right? For just absolutely no reason the Titans come out and win.
That would be absurd. That would be truly absurd.
Could happen, but if I had to put my money down, it's the Cowboys.
Cowboys. We got triple Cowboys on that one, and that'll make Craig happy in the chat. He's a Cowboys fan over there. And he said, we missed a real fun nickname, and Derrick Henry had been on them when they were the Oilers. Oil Derrick Henry.
Oil Derrick Henry. I like it. I think we could still go with that.
I thought I was going to go with Slick Derrick Henry. Slick Derrick.
Slick
Derrick.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of that.
It should work, but it
doesn't.
Doesn't.
How about Slick Oily Derrick?
Slick Henry. That's a little better.
Slick Henry. Nailed it.
So we all picked Dallas.
I think he already has an amazing nickname.
King Henry.
Derrick.
King Derrick, the King.
The Dare Bear.
Bear,
is what they call him affectionately
Big
on
D.
the Titans.
Yeah, I think King Henry is an amazing nickname.
Well, guys, a little bit tougher now.
A little bit
minus 12.5. Cowboys versus Titans. JL, are the Cowboys going to cover this spread?
12.5.
12.5 points. You think they're going to win by more than 12.5?
Yeah, I think they are.
Now going with Dallas, winning by more than 12.5. Coop, what about you? Do you think, you just said it's Thursday night, things get wild. Are you taking Tennessee to cover this?
I am. I'm going to play into that narrative that both teams are just like, they're going to come out and be like, is this game over yet? You know what I mean? One of those where they check their, I'm not wearing the Casio today. I got some more classier on. But they come out and they check their Casios and they say, is this game over yet? And it ends up being a low scoring game, but by the nature of low scoring games, the Cowboys don't really run up the score on them. So that's what I'm calling for. Cowboys could win handedly by 10 points and still cover by a couple points. You know.
Yeah. I think I'm going to take Dallas. I think it's an absolute blowout. I get that this could be a crazy game, but I think the Cowboys come out here. They got something to play for.
Big summer blowout.
Big summer blowout, except it's the winter.
Big winter blowout.
Recovering from that week of cheese at my parents' house. It's been a big winter blowout here over and over and over again.
Gross.
Somehow
you're telling
down the
me
Midwest.
it's gross. Yeah, the winter storm you guys heard about was really just the result of my parents having a cheese drawer and me visiting them for the holidays.
Your lactated.
Governor Abbott was not prepared. No, that was in Atlanta.
That was in Atlanta, but I've brought the emergency to Texas now. I was not prepared for the storm I've been brewing.
Governor
They
Abbott,
did not winterize my toilets.
instead of busing migrants to places to terrorize people, he's just going to start sending Simon with a plate of cheese to just like
clear out a room,
to just destroy sanction cities. Like Chicago's like, our plumbing system could not handle what Governor Abbott sent to us this weekend.
Sabotage
the entire sewer system.
They just put me on a bus full of like nachos and cheese fries and all this stuff. Like they lure me onto the bus, tell me we're going to Chili's all you can eat buffet. Yeah. And then we do go to the Chili's all you can eat buffet. But then on the way home, instead, I'm just taking up to Chicago. The next political prop, Simon's diarrhea.
Why is the governor of Texas waging war against Chicago?
Ask him.
Sanctuary cities, dude.
Ask Governor Abbott why he's waging war against.
I'm telling you though, that's probably against the Geneva Convention.
To send me to Chicago.
Bio warfare.
Yeah, it's bio. It's like they'd rather you drop Agent Orange over there
than drop Simon. Well, we all, not we all. JL and I took the Cowboys to cover the 12.5 point spread. It's a pretty big spread, but we take them to cover it. Coop, you think the Titans are going to cover? That they are going to at least keep it? That's not even close. They could lose by 11 and still have this, still cover the spread right here.
I just locked myself into also probably taking the under. So I'm setting myself up to be rooting for a sloppy game.
And that's the next question here. The over-under is set at 39.5 points. 39.5. Coop, we'll come to you first.
I'll go first.
Over or under on 39.5 here?
I'll take the under. Sloppy steaks at Trofino's. Slop them up, boys. I'm going to say it's going to be a sloppy game that the Cowboys win, and they win by like 10. I mean, it could easily be. We've seen games end 13-3, 13-10, something like that.
Don't put that on us. Right before New Year's Eve, you're gonna say that like one of the last games of the year, we're gonna get like a 13-10 gross game.
I hope you boys like them sloppy.
I know JL does, especially Joe's.
I'm a sloppy boy.
I had a conversation with my girlfriend this week. I feel like a food that I have really like not given the credit for how disgusting it is. I always say beef jerky and ketchup are my two least favorite foods. I would eat both of those things handily before I took a single bite of a sloppy Joe. Like that is vile. It is
so
disgusting.
Good.
It's
so
red.
good.
Like
it is all the things that you hate put into one sandwich.
Oh my god, it's disgusting.
Sauce, meat or beef. I mean,
it's like wet, gross, mushy meat just slopping all over the. I don't even want it to touch my fingers, let alone go into my mouth with how sloppy.
And the name is the cherry on top. Because if it had a different name, then maybe.
If it was called like a Wellington.
Sloppy Joe, yeah.
You'd be eating that thing up.
Yeah, Sloppy Joe.
If that was a Joe Wellington, I might eat the Joe Wellington. I'm not eating a sloppy Joe.
Wellington.
I don't know if I've ever had a bad sloppy Joe. They're just kind of like there,
You have to take in when you're evaluating foods, you have to take into account how easy it is to eat the food. That is absolutely a factor in the equation. And sloppy Joe is on there as way too stressful.
It is kind of a disaster. Even the pictures, they're all over the place. Like
you can't take a good picture of a sloppy Joe.
No,
like it's already
awesome.
slopping out immediately.
They need like walls. They need walls on that sandwich.
That's such a good point with food, JL, that like there are some like if you can make the best burger, but if it's like falling apart on me, I don't know, man. I don't like that. That's why
it's less enjoyable.
Yeah, I love one of my favorite foods is chili because I've like mastered eating it exactly how I like it. You know what I mean? No, I like dipping those like scoops chips to eat it, but like crumbling a little cornbread in there. Yeah, like and every bite is crafted exactly how I like it. It's part of why salad, I just feel like I'm always searching for that perfect bite of salad.
You brought that up multiple times.
It's true. It keeps me up at night. You just never get that perfect bite. Someday I'll have the perfect bite of salad. I'll never eat it again.
I've had like 1 or 2 salads in my life where I've been like, wow, that was good. Not just for a salad, but like that was very good. Usually a salad is just like, and I'm eating a salad. Like, I don't dislike this, but this is fine. I'm just going to eat this in between bites of the meal that I actually want to eat because it's good for me.
I've had amazing salads, but I've never had the perfect bite. Just a perfect distribution of everything in the salad in the right portions. It's not there.
You need sweet and salty in the salad. You need like some apples or some pears, and then you need some like pine nuts or croutons or something like that to go with it. Like pine nuts and pears and arugula in a salad. That's like near the perfect for me with a vinaigrette dressing.
You don't like apple? JL, I need your rebuttal on this.
I don't dislike fruits and stuff in my salad, but I never ever go out of my way to add them in. I don't love the mix of sweet and savory. I typically would rather just stick to one or the other.
I like both. I like the mix. The salty sweet combo is my weakness. Messed me up. Like there was I think Lay's was the one who did it. Chocolate covered potato chips that they would sell in like little packages. Did you guys ever have those?
No.
Freaking delicious. Chocolate covered potato chips are so good. That salty sweet combo.
Never had those, but I would try it. I'm also very surprised that you don't like ketchup, Simon. You seem like you would have been a ketchup kid.
Ketchup is absolutely disgusting. Sugar tomato water, like it just takes. It's vile.
You say that like we're all supposed to be like, oh yeah, gross sugar tomato water.
Like, yeah, sounds great. Like, it's just sugars, tomato,
really
and
basic ingredients.
vinegar.
It does seem like it's another one that I should like. I should like pickles. I love vinegar. I love cucumbers. I don't like pickles. I try them about once a year to like, I'm like, I think I'm wrong. I think I do like pickles. All the ingredients line up to you like this, Simon. And then I try it and I don't. I've tried like really good house-made pickles, like where people are like, "Oh, you gotta try the pickles."
See, that gets weird. Like pickles are dangerous for that. Like because you don't know. You could just get something totally different than what you're expecting.
Yeah, I was just saying I've tried the full gamut. I'm not just trying like one pickle on a Chick-fil-A sandwich and saying I don't like pickles. I've given them the good college try.
I appreciate your willingness to try though, because I think that's the difference maker for a lot of people. They had one bad pickle one time and now they never try again. Like the fact that
they just like stuck to their like that's part of their identity.
Right. Yeah. The not pickle person.
I like liking foods. Know what I mean? I prefer to like a food over not liking a food. So if I can get past that, I want to do it. But there's some foods that just make the list and it's not.
Victor brings up a good point in the chat here. So fried pickles. You ever had one? Simon, how do you feel about fried pickles?
I've had fried pickles and it's better because you get the fried part on the outside that makes everything taste a little better, but then it's still that pickle taste on the inside.
So good. I'm so hungry. I'm going to there's a new restaurant that just opened up near my house, and Maria and I've been going to it. So good. And they got fried pickles.
On my other screen,
smash burger.
On my other screen right now, I'm looking up where I can get fried pickles and sloppy joes tonight.
This has essentially become the Food Network channel.
Yeah.
It just make you hungry.
This is the watch us make our Uber Eats lunch orders channel.
This is how stupid this show is too, because the original question was, do you think the over or under hits on tonight's game? And now we're talking about sloppy joes and fried pickles.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We had a question.
In conclusion, I think it'll be the under tonight.
I don't even know if I guessed yet.
I don't think you guys did.
I don't think either one of us did. I don't think Coop did either. I think he said
sloppy.
Said a lot of stuff. I think he said sloppy out loud, and then I said, "Yeah, well, you know what sucks? Sloppy Joes."
I'm calling for a sloppy Joe tonight. A sloppy Dak. A sloppy Malik.
Delicious.
You think this is going to be a sloppy Joe kind of game, or is this a fried pickle game for you?
I think it's going to be a sloppy Joe kind of game, and I think it's going to be an over.
Yeah. Not what I thought you were going to say there.
Sloppy, but high scoring sloppy. I think the defense is going to score a lot of points on this Cowboys side. I think Cowboys are going to carry the total here, score the majority of the points. But I think it'll be over this the total of 39.5. That's low enough.
JL, I'm with you. I think this can be over, and I think the Cowboys are going to do it mostly by themselves.
We got
I think that.
Go ahead.
I think the Titans could score 10 points, and this over could hit.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm rolling here.
I'm rolling with Victor in the chat, who said he's taking the over on the amount of fried pickles and sloppy joes he's having tonight. brother, I'm with you. I'm going over. I'm going to the Husky Jeans store, baby. Let's go.
You have a place that has both, Coop, that you can order
Husky
from?
Jeans and Sloppy Joes.
I'm gonna have to, dude. I'm gonna have. And that would be killer. That would be a killer idea, because people don't want to go into the Husky Jeans store. But if you're the kind of person that loves Sloppy Joes, you would you don't want to have the embarrassment of having to go to the Husky Jeans store. But if they're at the Sloppy Joe place and you're just like, hey, might as well grab them while I'm here.
You got Sloppy Joe all over your shirt. I mean, how much self-respect do you have?
That's when you you have a good barbecue place, when you have a section where you sell a change of clothes for everyone that comes in, like a spot with a corner where they hose you down and give you a new set of clothes.
Spank you and send you on your way.
And they've got there's a line to get in, and above it says Sloppy Joe, and then on the exit as you walk out it says Clean Joe on the top, and on your way out you're the Clean Joe.
Dude, that would be
all their bathrooms say Sloppy Joe, Sloppy Joanne.
That would be a hilarious marketing thing, though, if you had a barbecue place, though, because then it would be in people's minds already, where it's like, oh, haha, I spilled on myself, but at least I'm at Sloppy Joe's where I get myself a pair of Husky Jeans on the way out.
If I didn't hate Sloppy Joes more than any other food on planet Earth, maybe I'd start a Sloppy Joe restaurant. But it's just every time someone came in, I would go, "What's wrong with you?" Like,
somebody just says no.
You'd be.
I'd like a Sloppy Joe. Absolutely not. Sorry.
You'd be a great employee, though, because you wouldn't be stealing the product. It's kind of like a.
I'd be vomiting in it.
Like
though.
a 10. Like
That'd be the biggest threat to a Sloppy Joe restaurant is employees sneaking the sandwich.
Shoveling Sloppy Joe meat into their mouth in the bag. Come back.
Tony, what's that on your lips? Nothing.
It's one of the 10. It's like
Blood.
Like Biggie Smalls said, the 10 crack commandments. Never get high on your own supply.
Jim said Sloppy Joes are given away at Husky clothes stores. They're going backwards right now. You go in to buy your Husky jeans, and they're giving you a Sloppy Joe on the way in. You're gonna need new pants by the time you leave.
That's smart. Now that's actually smart,
right?
And James in here did have a question for us. He said, "My opponent this week has Derrick Henry.
Good.
There are decent waiver wire picks he could choose: AJ Dillon, Chuba Hubbard. I dropped Haskins, and he picked him up hook, line, sinker.
Smart.
I don't hate that.
Yeah.
I don't hate that. I mean, Haskins, there's a chance that he pops off. There's a chance because we haven't seen it, right? That's why earlier in the show I called him a wild card. A lot of things have to go right for him to pop off, though. And I think that's not very likely.
I'm going to take this as a win, though. If you get your opponent to start Haskins over AJ Dillon with an Aaron Jones who's been limited at practice regularly and a good matchup, like if you dropped Haskins as that little grenade for your opponent to jump on, and it's going to prevent him from starting AJ Dillon with potentially no Aaron Jones, and he's going to have to make that decision today, right? Your opponent's going to have to make that decision today. I like your odds, man. I would rather my opponent start Haskins with no Henry than start AJ Dillon with potentially no Aaron Jones.
Haskins with no Henry.
Yeah, and the
Haskins Robbins. Sorry.
Bro, you just wiped my mind. I was about to say something, and you just straight Men in Blacked me with Baskin Robbins. I literally don't know what I was about to say. What are you talking about, dude? No, I was saying that. What I was saying is that quietly, all year long, like up until a week or so ago, Green Bay only had 5 carries as a team inside the 5-yard line, but AJ Dillon had 4 of those. So we knew deep in there, AJ Dillon was getting the carries if they were going to have them. And then the last couple of weeks, they've had 4, and he's gotten 3 of them. He scored multiple touchdowns on those. So now he's up to 7 carries inside the 5-yard line. He's the lead back in that area. If there's a pass interference in the end zone, AJ Dillon is going to score that touchdown, right? If they get it down to the 1, he's going to score that touchdown. He is the Jamal Williams. They just haven't had that enough opportunities. But this game versus the Vikings with the over-under and the cold weather, like it could easily be a big AJ Dillon game. So I love dropping the landmine to prevent that dude from starting AJ Dillon. And I would also potentially kind of, if you have a spot for him, maybe you should add AJ Dillon and just take that completely off the table, because I do kind of like AJ Dillon.
Yeah, me too. I like AJ Dillon this week. I think it's a good spot for him to start, and I'm with you, Coop. Good moves. It takes
Haskin
It takes
Robinson.
guts in your fantasy championships to drop a grenade. Know what I mean? A running back that you know is probably
Yeah.
getting the start. Like that's a gutsy move, but I like it. I like the call.
Yeah, for sure.
Jordan wanted to know how many sloppy joes can all of you eat? Over, under 3. Well, I'm contributing none. So if this is a combined
I'm
effort,
also contributing none.
so this because Jail's a vegetarian. So this comes down to Coop.
Over.
Can you eat 3 or more sloppy joes
Easily. Without
in
question.
one sitting?
Of any size.
of any size.
There's
I would take under on myself if with the caveat here that we're using plantless or plant-based, sorry, meat.
Ooh, I wonder if there's a good recipe on
There.
because the burgers are all good. I as a omnivore myself, I do love burgers, and if it's a cookout or I'm going out to dinner, I'm gonna get a regular burger. But at home, I make the Impossible burgers. I actually really like them. They're good. They've mastered the texture. That's the thing. They figured out that the taste was always there, but the texture is there now with a lot of these ones. They're very good.
Nailed it. I'm a black bean burger kind of guy, and I don't think they're doing a black bean sloppy joe. I think that would just be a different sandwich entirely.
That would be pretty sloppy. They would definitely be able to capture the sloppiness with that. But yeah, sloppy joes fall in the same category as McDonald's cheeseburgers for me, where I've never figured out exactly how many I can eat, but I know in my heart that it's a lot. And I'm not even sure
found the limit either.
I'm not even sure if there's a cap on that. Like I've never taken it to the limit, but I've taken it pretty push it to the limit. I've taken it
Never redlined it
to the limit.
I'm taking it pretty deep. Dude. I'm taking it deep.
Coop's in it to win it, baby. He's gonna win that sloppy joe eating competition.
Victor in here said, "This is why the show is awesome. The sidetrack laughter jokes. Who would have thought sloppy joes would cheer you up this morning?"
We needed it.
And then he said, "I could eat 5 to 6 sloppy joes at best." That's pretty good, man.
That's a lot of sloppy joes, Victor.
That is a whole lot of.
You said at
food.
best like that wasn't an accomplishment. I'd be impressed and disgusted if I watched someone eat 6 sloppy joes.
3 is a really high line set by Jordan.
That's getting pretty sloppy, bro. That's a lot of buns, dude.
I think for most people, the line's probably at like 1.5.
I think the line's at a half.
Depends how sloppy.
Like, can you finish a single sloppy?
Depends how sloppy.
Depends how sloppy you make them. If you could, thing is, you could kind of make some weak ones and get away with it, but you still got to eat the buns. I think that's what gets you in the end.
The buns.
So James said our league is limited to 3 ad drops during the playoffs. He took Haskins with his last ad.
Yeah.
Well, first get rid of those transaction limiters, because anything that limits the amount of transactions, the activity, makes it less fun, because the most fun part is all the ads and drops. But you got it, James. That means you're safe from him picking up AJ Dillon. But I'm curious what your running backs are, because he's not a bad start.
Yeah.
Might be worth picking up and throwing on your bench. And Maria in here said, I'm coming in late, but fried pickles.
Bling.
Bling. You're right. That was much better than what I did for that emoji.
And Tim said Simon just lathers bread with beans. Is that what a black bean? Is that how you describe a black bean?
Okay. There are 2 different kinds of black bean burgers at a restaurant. This is how you know if a restaurant like cares about the vegetarian options on their menu.
You don't.
One is a real black bean patty, and it comes out and it's solid and it doesn't fall apart and it's delicious. Sometimes you order a black bean burger at a restaurant and they literally just put a pile of black beans on a bun, like where they're just falling out the sides. There is no structure to it. Like they heard black bean burger and missed the burger part and just threw black beans onto it. Like it's impossible to eat. There's literally just like beans dripping down your fingers. There's bean juice everywhere. Sometimes they don't even drain them. It's still delicious because black beans are delicious, but it's like, that's not a burger. That's like soup on a bun.
Like sloppy joe.
Beans are soup. Beans are soup to you?
If you don't take the water out of them.
Yeah. Producer Keith said Chinese food is like that for me. I could eat a whole meal and still be ready to chow some main. Yeah, Chinese food's one of those ones where it fills me up right away, but then I'm hungry again like 10 minutes later, and I do eat more.
I always eat too much. And Indian food. I can't sit down and eat Indian food and not feel just absolutely stuffed afterwards.
However much is put in front of me is how much I'll eat.
Yeah, I will push it to the limit every single time without fail.
The Indian food people always trick me into getting it too spicy. They're always like, this is too spicy for the white man, and I'm like, all right, give me that one. Give me that one. It's like, they're like, this is our normal spice. And I'm like, yeah, give me normal. And then it's like burns my face off. I don't know what it is about the Indian people, but they can handle
New England temperament you got.
They can handle their spices. And
New
I like
England
spicy.
Constitution.
The first time I went to Mexico for work, I was at the factory and I was in line getting my lunch. And at the end of the line, like it was like a cafeteria lunch at the factory, I'm getting my lunch and they've got all these sauces lined up and I grab one and I start squirting all over my food. And the person behind me, the guy who was
all over my food.
Oh yeah, I was just like loading it up. They grab me and they go, "No!" And I was like, "What?" They go, "That's really spicy." And I'm sitting there thinking like, I like spicy. I can handle it. And then I'm sitting in this cafeteria with hundreds of workers here just laughing their ass off at the gringo, sweating bullets and crying at the lunch table because it was a level of spicy I had never encountered. And it was just like the normal sauce sitting on the end of the counter and I slathered it all over.
I love that they tried to help you though. They were no.
And I said, I got it, and squirted more on, was like, I'm ready to go. And then like multiple people like from across the room coming up and like handing me napkins to like wipe my sweat off. I think they just wanted to get a closer look at like how much pain I was in because they would walk 100 yards to come hand me a napkin right there.
That's hilarious.
Dustin said I'm like that with hot dogs. Don't know how many I can eat, but it's a ton.
It's a ton.
Yeah, I could do some.
Guys,
I could do some aged diesels, a good quantity of them. Not Joey
Aged
Chestnut
diesels.
style though.
We got another question in here from Will. He said, I've already lost Henry. I have Cook, Zeke, and Akers. Should I stick with Zeke or play Pollard? I'm afraid Pollard may be limited.
I'm playing Zeke regardless, man. Pollard hasn't practiced all week, and Zeke has a touchdown every game for 8 straight games. And a couple of those games, he has 2 touchdowns. He's a touchdown machine, and this is a touchdown scoring type game, my boy.
Zeke for me as well. What about you, John Luke?
Yeah, it's Zeke for me. It's Zeke for me. It feels like if this game does get out of hand, they're just going to feed Zeke. Save
Feed the
Pollard for
Zeke.
the playoffs. Yep.
Coop, I thought we would play the game that we used to play all the time as we're making predictions here. We haven't done it for a couple Thursday night games. We're approaching the end of the season. Let's go down the list of first touchdown scorers and try to pick the name
I love
that
this
we
game.
like best. That's a little bit lower. The lowest name, the name with the highest odds or the most unlikely odds that we think could be the first touchdown scorer. Up at the top of the list on here, Ezekiel Elliott at plus 320. Derrick Henry, even though he's doubtful, at plus 600. CeeDee Lamb at plus 600. Tony Pollard, also unsure if he's going to play at plus 600. And the next one, we've got Hassan Haskins at plus 850. Dalton Schultz at plus 1,000. And it gets gross after that.
Oh, there's some names in there, brother, that I kind of like. I dropped another brother there for you folks. One name I find interesting here, I mean, the fun one obviously is Kevontae Turpin, dude, because that would mean
he runs it back,
kick or punt return. Yeah, but Peyton Hendershot's kind of flashed at times. He scored a touchdown just a week ago. Earlier this year, it might have been Jake Ferguson that had the hurdle, but I kind of like Hendershot there. They do like him in that red area.
And what's he sitting at? He's sitting at plus 3,500.
3,500, $100 to win $3,500.
That's pretty hot. I don't mind that one, Coop. Is this just a shot though? He's not someone that you would even plug into a DFS lineup, right?
No, you can't because he doesn't run enough routes. So like in the games where he basically goes in just for like, he's not even that great of a blocking tight end. So he goes in as like a second passing tight end, like an Anthony Ferguson. So he usually runs like 5 to 10 routes, but they sneak him out. You know, I think teams just don't respect his pass catching ability, which is why he gets so wide open at times.
Yeah, that checks out. I think the one that stands out to me, Dale, you brought it up whenever you were talking about the total hitting. The Dallas defense at plus 2,600 with Malik Willis starting at quarterback and potentially no Derrick Henry. They might have to throw the ball a little bit.
It's a great
I think we could see the Dallas defense plus 2,500 or plus 2,600 with the first touchdown score of this game.
How crazy?
That's where I think I'm going.
How crazy is it that Dallas defense is there and the wide receivers for the Titans are behind
even
that.
lower.
Treylon Burks, Robert Woods. Yeah. So like they are basically saying, we dare you to bet that Malik Willis throws a touchdown pass. Right. They're
100%.
daring.
I'm not falling for it.
If you put $100 on each of those guys, $300, right? And so you put $300 down to bet all three. Treylon Burks, 100 on each. Treylon Burks, Robert Woods, Nick Westbrook-Akine. If one of them catches a touchdown pass, you win $3,000.
The first touchdown pass.
$300. The first touchdown pass. 300. If any one of the wide receivers catches the first touchdown pass of the game, you win $3,000. That's kind of intriguing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but Malik Willis hasn't really been inspiring that's even going to be a possibility in this game, especially against that Dallas defense. It's rough, man. It's a rough matchup for him, and he has not looked great. He hasn't gone over 100 yards in the 2 starts that he had, 99 yards on Christmas Eve, and then when he played Kansas City, or he threw the ball 16 times that game, only 80 yards. Like, it's yikes.
JL, what are you picking as your long shot? What do you like on this list?
I'll go with Dallas defense is good. I see Victor in the chat said Gallup on a deep pass touchdown. I like that as well. It's just not very deep. He's like the 7th highest option here.
That's a good realistic bet.
That's a good realistic one.
We'll just do our realistic ones after. But what do you got for Steve?
I'll go with Austin Hooper, 2,600.
So
Austin Hooper.
I love that pick because people don't realize, they get all excited in the Chig Okonkwo hype, but those guys are splitting snaps pretty much right down the middle, and the last time they're pretty evenly targeted as well. So it's just as likely for Hooper to score as Chig, unfortunately for us in fantasy football world. So I like that play. Now, if you were going to bet a realistic one, what would you pick?
I'd probably go Zeke. It's the favorite, but that's probably where I'm rolling. Plus 320 for Ezekiel Elliott is probably what I think is the most likely to happen, and FanDuel agrees with me.
Right. And it's not what so at plus 320, you can bet $33 to win 100. That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah. So like the odds are still sitting there. You can still make some decent money on it. And I feel like it's, especially with Tony Pollard potentially being limited or out, that feels like a good bet. There's another one that I'm surprised by how low it is. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to bring up Dak Prescott is pretty low.
Yes,
yeah, 20 plus 2,300. Honestly, I would probably pivot from Austin Hooper to Dak Prescott. I didn't realize that they were so close. Plus 2,300 versus plus 2,600.
It's wild that he's that low, it seems like.
It's got to be a rushing touchdown, of course.
Yep.
But it does.
He scoots around. Yeah. I think the one I like for realistic ones is at his price point, Dalton Schultz. $10 to win 100 or $100 to win 1,000 that Dalton Schultz catches a touchdown. Why can't it be Dalton Schultz?
Yeah,
it can be Dalton Schultz. Charles in here was agreeing with you, JL. Dak on a QB run. Yeah,
he's only had one rushing touchdown from the red zone.
Ooh, Dak.
Well, let's use logical fallacies and say he's overdue
because they got Zeke, baby. They got Zeke.
They got Zeke and Pollard. Yeah, Zeke has 11 inside the red zone. Tony Pollard has 6.
Yeah, Dak has
been a hammer.
Wah, wah. Will had a question in here for us. Wanted to know best defense for this week: Giants, Jags, Eagles, or Chargers? Coop, of those defenses, Giants, Jags, Eagles, Chargers, which one are you plugging in week 16, 17?
Giants, Jags, Eagles, or Chargers? So
the Eagles.
The Eagles have the Saints. I think that's where I'm going to go. Yeah. The Giants have the Colts. The Jags have to Houston, but the thing with Houston, to Houston, they're going to Houston. They've been Houston's been kind of competitive. They put up games against the Chiefs. They put up a decent game against the Cowboys. So maybe not the slam dunk we thought they were for defenses.
Yeah, I would go Eagles and then Jags would be my second choice here.
Yep. I would go Eagles, and then it would be close between Jags and Chargers as the second choice. But you probably only need one, and we all think it's probably going to be the Eagles. The Eagles are a great play this week against New Orleans. Not just like, oh, it's a good defense. It doesn't matter about the matchup. It's a good matchup, too.
Yeah, the Texans, they lost 23-27 to the Cowboys. That game went to the wire. Then they went to overtime, lost to the Chiefs 30-24. And then this past week, they beat the Titans 19-14. So, and I also called that the Sunday morning show. Shout out Fantasy Alarm. Sunday morning playbook from 9 to 11. That was had the money line on the Texans there. Kind of a handicapper, not a big deal. But the Jaguars, I think that there's a very real possibility the Texans win that game. I mean, the Jaguars are hot, but the Texans have been pretty good lately. It's kind of crazy.
It's bizarre. I still don't believe it. I think all of them were still a fluke. I'm not buying into any of it. I think this is a team. Maybe we're seeing a lack of respect from the Cowboys and the Chiefs on this Texans game, right? Like they were looking ahead, the classic narrative of like trap game, look ahead past this team. And that's why the Texans are able to compete.
That's part of my narrative with tonight. Trap game that the Cowboys aren't taking it seriously. Look out now. Look out. Even though they're missing Jeffrey Simmons and Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill, all these guys are professional football players, right?
They are?
All of them. Professional.
Barely for some of them. They just started.
Just barely. But but they are. They're being paid.
Still
Even the guys that on the practice squad, I mean, they're getting paid. That means you professionally play football.
I saw, do you guys remember the show Pros vs. Joes? We got Eric in the chat. He runs the Pros with Joes tournament. Do you remember the show Pros vs. Joes?
No.
There was a clip from it that came up yesterday of a NFL defensive lineman hitting a regular guy. Just like the regular guy was trying to stop him. They just lined up on the line of scrimmage and they tried to stop him. And it reminded me even these players where you think, oh, they're garbage, they can't stop anyone. God, they are the most athletic men on planet Earth. They took this guy who was the guy was 6 feet tall. He was a normal guy, even above average height, normal size. And he just it wasn't even a throw. It's with the hit, the guy just became airborne, was off the ground in the air, flying backwards. You're right, Coop. Even the guys on these teams that aren't starting, aren't the stars, they're still unbelievable athletes.
They're so good. Yeah. It's like that time Brian Scalabrine, a guy from the Celtics that was he hardly ever played. He's just a big, goofy white dude who now he's now in broadcasting and he works for, I think DraftKings. He's super funny. He went on this radio station after he retired and he challenged anyone to come out and play him one-on-one. And he proceeded to just dominate every single person because he's a professional basketball player. You forget how much better he is. They called it the Brian Scalabrine Scallenge, and he just crushed it.
It reminds me of Atlanta, where they have Michael Vick just taking people's bets as he races them outside the club.
Yeah. So funny, dude. Brian Scalabrine also had an all-time quote. John and Pemba brought it up the other day that he said after they asked him about after the championship where he hardly played and they won the championship, he was like, 10 years from now, you guys aren't even going to remember that I didn't play. And he goes, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, I'm going to be telling my grandkids that I started and played the whole game. Nobody remembers. He's like, I'm a champion, and that's all you need to know.
I'm a champion.
One more. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Nick in the chat said, give me the D, fellas. Would you play Dallas D or Giants? It's Dallas D for me.
Dallas,
yeah. Number one defense this week.
Exactly. They're my top defense. There's not a single defense I would play over them.
Yeah. And then Will asks, Gay or Crosby? Obviously, I'm plugging my team in last minute. I think I'd go Crosby here. He's got Minnesota going against Minnesota. I'm just not trusting in the Chargers are going to be able to, or I'm sorry, the Rams are going to be able to score against the Chargers here.
I'm with you, JL. And if this is going to be a shootout, you at least get all those extra points. It seems like a fairly safe floor for Crosby, right? In this game.
Yeah.
I expect this to be a shootout. He'll be on the field kicking those extra points. That's where I'm rolling as well.
Is this in Minnesota? Because that would even help.
I think so. Guys, everybody who joined us this morning, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with the Front Yard Fantasy crew bright and early on this Thursday morning. We will be back tomorrow from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time and every single day, Monday through Friday. So make sure to come hang out with us. And we'll be recapping tomorrow's game and talking some more nonsense, maybe some sloppy Joe talk as well. Stick around here on BSN today, though, for some more killer programming. We got Moose and Keith up next, followed by Lunch Money presented by Fantasy Guru and Corey Nando and friends right after that. Until tomorrow, though, we are out of here, everybody. Enjoy your Thursday night football. Adios.
See you in office hours.